Hi, I'm Chris Berman from ESPN. Coming up next, I know you want to know what's coming up next, so that's why I'm here. The TCI Game of the Week.
Last year, the Kimball Knights went 5-0 to start the season, but even after surprising losses to Berkeley and Troy, Kimball still made the playoffs. On the other side, the Rochester Falcons were fortunate enough to go undefeated in the regular season, only to be beaten in the first round of the playoffs. Tonight, Kimball and Rochester battle each other on the TCI Game of the Week.
The TCI Sports High School Football Game of the Week.
Tonight from Rochester High School, it's the Kimball Knights taking on the Rochester Falcons. Hello everyone, Dave Zorin along with Bob Griglak and Joe Abramson here at Rochester High School to bring you this contest, the second week of the season, and already some big scores being piled up. How's it going for Rochester, Bob?
Well, they won 44-0 last week. They've got 4 returning starters from last year, and Jason Clark, 165 yards and 3 touchdowns, so it should be a good game.
And with Kimball, they won 48-0, so Oakland Press has them at 4-point favorites, obviously. But like Rochester, a playoff team from last year, unlike Rochester, they return a bunch of guys. 8 starters on offense, 8 on defense. The main man, their quarterback, Jeff Davis, one of the top 2 or 3 returning quarterbacks in Oakland County, spread it out last week through 4 touchdown passes. 5 different players scored touchdowns for Kimball, so you can't key your defense on any one guy.
Okay, there's a little bit of insight here on this game, and it should be a great contest. We'll be back with the kickoff right after these messages. Stay with us.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
The TCI Sports Game of the Week. Dave Zorin along with Bob Griglak here in the booth, and Joe Abramson down on the field from Rochester High School, where week number 2 takes us as the Kimball Knights take on the Rochester Falcons. The Kimball Knights last year 5-2 in the conference, 7-3 overall, making the playoffs, and the Rochester Falcons 6-0 and 9-1 overall. And a great season for the Rochester Falcons. In the last year that Mike Van Dam we saw as head coach. This year they have a new head coach, and that is Mark Merlo.
Mark is not a new coach. He's been with the system for 12 years, so he's very familiar with what's going on. So there's really not a great loss in that department.
So a first-year head coach, I should say. On the other side, Terry Powers for Kimball. He's been there and returns a lot of players here with a lot of experience. 8 on defense, 8 on offense for the Kimball Knights. So experience the key for the Kimball Knights, and the Rochester Falcons lose a lot of experience, but they both teams started out well this season, Bob.
They did, 48-0 and 44-0. Obviously, those scores are large, but in respect to what these two teams are going to do today, we'll have a better idea after this first quarter.
Paul Dressler, number 2, will do the kicking off for the Falcons. And back deep, number 11, Adam Conrad, number 32, Jeremy Davis, 2 starting backs for the Kimball Knights, and it'll be 32, Jeremy Davis, to take it back. Davis almost reaches the 30-yard line and may have it, and a good return for the Kimball Knights, and they'll start there at the 30-yard line.
There's Jeremy Davis. He's one of their key players on offense. Obviously, he's going to be the guy to make this Kimball Knights team run.
Kimball very strong offensively last week, and not a big day really for any running back. 35 yards for Davis and a touchdown, and it was pretty balanced. There you see the quarterback, number 16, Jeff Davis, Jeremy's brother. And he'll call the signals. 2 men in the backfield, a counter in the backfield, and a first down run by number 11, Adam Conrad. Conrad carries for about 6 yards, 5 or 6 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Excellent blocking up front that time. The hole opened up and he had a nice run. Sets up 2nd and 5. You can look right here. The guard's pulling as he pulls, opens up a large hole. He runs right through it, and a good tackle by the linebacker right at the end.
Conrad trying to cut back against the grain to make something happen and gained a couple extra yards. 2nd and 5 now. In motion, number 21, Mosier, Neil Mosier. Davis to throw to the sideline. Flags are down and complete out there. He will have the first down if it's not against Kimball. Brian Issett, remember Issett last year, 6'1", 175 senior. And Issett carries for the first down. But
you probably see a hold right in here. Typically when those flags are thrown in the backfield like that, it's a hold. So let's see what the call is. Does get the first down, but it probably will come back. No, illegal motion on the offense. They'll bring it back 5 yards, so we'll have 2nd and 10.
Both teams not afraid to throw. Although
Illegal motion. And it's replay a 2nd down.
there we go. Illegal motion in the backfield on Conrad.
He must have
2nd down again.
He must have picked up from the 3-point stance prior to the snap of the ball.
Here we go, 2nd and 10 now. Again, we said the Kimball Knights not afraid to throw. They've got some receivers. In fact, one of their backs caught a couple last year, so they will throw the backs. Let's take a look here. And it's Conrad trying to make up for it.
Deep handoff that time, Dave. He looked for a hole. He got a hole initially, and you can see the surge right here. The offensive line pushes forward. There's a deep handoff. He has a chance to look for the hole. He finds it. And again, 30-31 is in on the tackle that time for Rochester. That's Mike Vito.
So Conrad gets his 5 back, and it's 2nd and 5 again now. Or excuse me, a 3rd and 6. They have not moved the marker on the far sideline. Here's Davis, rambling to the right side. A lot of room, has the first down and more as he goes out of bounds at about the 48-yard line.
Dave, that was a design play that time. You can see Davis as he faked left, went around right, and it was a bootleg all the way. Here's the fake. Now watch. He'll never look for a pass. It's a design play. He's kind of faking him out right there. He's going to take it around for the first down. Excellent play. Had the linebackers frozen, and that's what made the difference.
Jeff Davis, 6 feet, 200-pound senior. Ball at about the 48-yard line. And the Kimball Knights on the move. A great matchup if you take a look at the records of these two teams last year. And you know how things can change from year to year. Wrestling him down is number 67, Walter Nazio. Nazio wrestles down Davis, and a good run for Davis.
Got 5 yards. Excellent fake that time in the backfield. That's what really helped with that run.
There you see head coach Mark Merlo in his first year.
Mark seemed pretty calm down there when we were talking to him. He knows he's pretty knowledgeable in regards to football.
2nd down, about 6 now. To the sideline. Looked like it was going to be a flea flicker, but here comes Issett down the sideline, and the ref whistles it out at about the 30-yard line. So the Knights pick up the first down, but it could have been worse for the Falcons.
You're going to see a great block right here. Issett had the determination to wait for the block, and that's what makes the difference on his play. There's 2 Rochester people right here. Now watch waiting for the block right here. There's his blocker. He waits for him to come through, and as he goes through, he cuts around the corner and gets an excellent gain out of it. That's good patience by a young running back there.
And you see Issett step out, so he does slow down. He knew it. 1st and 10 at the 30 for the Kimball Knights on their first possession, moving the ball well. Conrad hit hard, and Bob, he's a straight up and down runner. You won't see him go down and try to make any moves. He's just straight up and down, and that time it might have hurt him.
He was hitting the belt buckle, and he had the drive in the legs in order to keep on going. Unfortunately, there's too many blue bodies there to put him down. Straight dive play, and that's going to be the plan of attack here, as they do a lot of dives.
No gain, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 10 now. There we see Brian Issett, excuse me, looking at the roster here. 2 Bryans. Davis unloads, downfield, complete. And down to the 5-yard line goes Jason Webster. Webster, number 34, cutting across and coming up with a big play here for the Knights.
The reason that play worked is because of the rollout. Here's the fake. He's rolling out. Webster's going to come out of the backfield and come straight across the field. You can watch him here with he's wide open on the reception. Gets all the way down to the 5-yard line. But the reason that worked is the rollout, and he had time to throw the ball. Rolled the pocket.
Offensive line quickly for Kimball. Steve Chapman, the center. Ryan Payne, the guard, and Joe Messing, the guard. Mark During and Mark St. John are the tackles. Into the end zone and just out of the reach of Issett.
Issett's a tall receiver, so they're trying to throw it back up into that corner route there. Issett's 6'1", 175-pound senior wide receiver. You see right there, he's a rather tall receiver. Stretch that body out off the fingertips.
Completing the offensive line, Nathan Shotwell, the tight end, number 88. Some of the names that we haven't called yet. Ball at about the 6-yard line, 2nd and goal. Davis handing off, and getting into the end zone is Jason Webster. Webster got him down to the 5, and he gets him in from the 6-yard line.
Strong running by Webster that time. Over right tackle, picked his hole, he waited for his blockers, and he made the touchdown. 69-yard drive, 10 plays. You can see right here, watch him go over tackle. Here he comes, guard hole is plugged, goes over tackle, and he goes in for the touchdown. Good vision that time. You can see him slide across the line. And as he slid across, he waited for the hole. There's a fake.
They're going for 2, and they get it. Kimball Knights go for 2 and surprise everybody as Issett gets the pass from Jeff Davis, and right away the Knights pick up an edge here.
Wide open in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. They snap the ball directly back to the kicker. The kicker made the throw. It's an unusual formation, unusual thing to happen this early in the game. They wanted to obviously get up and put the pressure on to get the lead. Now Rochester, if they do come back and score, will be forced to make a decision whether to go for the 2 now or to wait later.
So the extra point, a 2-pointer, makes it 8-0 with 8:12 left here in the first quarter. And the Falcons have yet to touch the football. There on the far sideline, you can see one of the assistant coaches. That's the defensive coordinator for the Kimball Knights, getting his defensive unit ready.
I can't hear him. I can barely hear these guys. You want to do something real quick on what those plays were? I kind of know what they ran.
8 minutes
both set up the touchdown
and 12 seconds left here in the first quarter. 8-0. The Kimball Knights on their first drive chew up a lot of that clock with 8:12 left and a 69-yard drive. A great job.
It's a pretty diverse attack too. They mixed the passing and running up very well, rolled the pocket well.
The kickoff is by the quarterback, Jeff Davis, doing the kicking. And the Falcons get good field position, returning it back to about the 37, 38-yard line. On the return was number 31, Mike Vito. Let's go down to Joe Abramson down on the sideline.
Dave and Bob, that touchdown run by Jason Webster was set up by the play preceding it on the boot pass, which is what Terry Powers calls it, that rollout pass play, which is the cornerstone to their offense. I saw it last year and the few times that I saw them play, and I've seen it this year already. They set that up, the defensive backs have to spread out, the linebackers spread out, that opens up the middle for the run, and there you saw the easy touchdown run for Kimball.
Thanks, Joe. Now back to the first offensive play here for the Falcons, and they have somewhat of a successful play there. On the run was number 44, Jason Clark.
There's our drive, Dave. 10 plays and 70 yards. 3 minutes and 48 seconds off the clock. Capped off by the 6-yard touchdown run by Mr. Webster.
Now, Joe was talking about that play too, Terry Powers, before the game. We had seen a lot of that play last year, and here Terry Powers knew exactly what Joe was talking about too before the game. He said that play is probably one of their bread and butter plays that they run all season. In motion is McCann, and they go opposite way. A handoff off tackle rather, to Scott Ross, and Ross is close to a first down. Let's take a look if he picked it up or not.
Looks like he did. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here, but the defensive end comes in, number 35. He tries to cap him off. There he is. He misses the tackle. Otherwise, he would have been caught in the backfield. He's supposed to pinch in, which he did. Try to make an arm tackle. Wasn't good enough. Looks like they did get the first down.
Adam Conrad on the tackle for the Knights. And the Falcons now are on the move. 6:53 and counting down here in the first quarter.
Falcon! Come on, oh! You guys can do it.
In motion, Lawrence.
Come on, Bergen!
And dropped for a loss. Mark Bergen, the quarterback, sacked for a loss and getting in there. Looked like number 35, Dave Goulette. Let's take a look.
Goulette was the defensive end who missed the arm tackle on the last play. This time he gets the penetration. Let's take a look as he rolls out to the left, which is the tough way to throw. There he goes right there. He's trying to hide the ball. You're going to see from the back end here. No, it wasn't Goulette, Dave. It was 67, it looks like.
67 and 44
Russ
in there,
Hallett.
too. And Cleaver, Marcus Cleaver in there. Straight dive and rumbling for maybe 2 or 3 yards is number 44, Jason Clark again. Clark had a big game last week with 165 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns for the Falcons. And a big victory they had.
There's Terry Powers. Seems like he's happy after that first drive.
Yeah, talking to his quarterback, Jeff Davis. Davis with 186 yards last week and 4 touchdowns. Everybody's coming for Kimball, and it doesn't pay off. Let's take a look. They get back to the original line of scrimmage. On the carry is number 20, Scott Ross for the Falcons.
Everybody's coming from the right side. This time you can't see him. There's 33. He's blitzing. Everybody's blitzing. He gets outside and is able to turn it up for about a 5-yard gain. It's good speed there that time. And good tackle right at the end. Rochester Falcons do a lot of power dive. They really won't play any options, so we're not going to see that as part of their attack today.
So the Kimball Knight defense holds up against the Falcons as they're forced to punt from about the 48-yard line. Asking for the fair catch inside the 20 is number 21, Mosier, Neil Mosier, a wide receiver and also free safety back there, one of the captains.
He had time to run that ball back, but elected not to. He had about 10 yards between him and the first defender. So anytime you're inside that 15-yard line, you got to try to get it out over the 20. That or try to let the ball go into the end zone.
Rochester Falcon fans here, getting their team fired up. Next week, don't forget to tune in. It'll be the Troy Colts against the Adams Highlanders. Another good matchup for you next week. So we've had some good ones. Straight dive here. On the carry is Jeremy Davis. Davis grinding for about 5, maybe 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6 coming up.
Davis, I think, is going to get a lot more carries than he did last week, where he gained 35 yards as the top ground gainer. I think you're going to see him get 35 yards potentially here in the first half.
Yeah. Kimball moving the ball successfully against the defense of Rochester. Davis on the handoff. Conrad hit for a loss. And the Falcon defense rises to the occasion. Go ahead, Bob.
This will be a big 3rd down play here. We got 3rd and about 7, potentially 8 yards. This is a big first down because they just went down and scored. They're deep in territory. They can get field position right back to the Rochester Falcons.
Let's talk about some of the defensive players for the Falcons. At defensive tackle, Walter Inizio and Paul Phelan. The defensive ends, Brian Lee. And we got Craig Sippa. We'll get the linebackers and the defensive backs for you. Mosier in motion for the Knights. Davis to throw. He throws out there, complete and close to a first down out to Mosier, who is in motion. And let's see how close he is.
Well, Mosier thinks he's got it, and he's going to be right on that line. Depends on the mark. Let's take a look at the mark. 6 foot, 150 pounds. Good speed. Looks like they think they've got it, and they do.
They're moving. Nice
short pass, good call right there, and he takes advantage of Mosier's speed. He kind of stretches out. Looks like he might have been short. That was a good mark. It was a good mark by the officials, or a bad mark, depending on how you're looking at it.
The linebackers for the Falcons, Mike Vito, Butch Black, and Steve Scott. The monster back, Darren Griffith. Let's take a look as Davis throws underneath. And a big play here. The Kimball Knights on the move again. Jeremy Davis this time. And they will throw to the backs. As we said earlier, they have thrown to some of the backs, and some of the backs will line up in the slot formation, and they pick up a receiver here.
This is almost like a running back screen here. He comes back across the middle. He's set up. He doesn't have any blocking, though. That's all speed that takes him up. It was an excellent play. When you roll left, it's a tough pass to throw, but he was able to complete it. Threw it low, and Davis made a nice catch. And a beautiful run after.
The Kimball Knights on the move again now. Ball at about the 46, 47-yard line. 1st and 10 there. In motion is Davis. Again, they go with one of their backs as a receiver and leave one back, a single back in the backfield.
Left side of the offensive line. Both of them move.
So it's the second time we've seen some motion on the Kimball Knights side on the offense. There you see head coach Mark Merlo in his first year as head coach.
They said they were going to be quick, but that's just a little quick.
Mark, again, has been an assistant coach here for 12 years.
Come on, D!
2 under Dick Ulrich and 10 under Mike Van Dam. The officials today, Cal Teague, Bob Shear, Tom Trasinski, Stan Jerlecki, and George Harvey. As you can see, their designations as officials. 1st and 15 now for the Knights. Straight dive. This one goes up the middle, though, and a slight counter. Kevin Phillips on the carry, number 23.
One of the fortes of Kimball is that they give the ball to a lot of different people. One of the signs of that is that there's 4 different receivers that catch passes already today. There's 5 different people who scored touchdowns last week. So that mixes it up real well. You really don't know who's getting the ball.
And you see number 23, Phillips in there, a sophomore, getting some action. 2 men in the backfield, 2 receivers down to the bottom of the screen here for Davis. Davis rolling out right, which will mean someone will come out from that left side, and he couldn't find anybody.
Well, there were people downfield, but everybody was covered. There was excellent zone coverage that time by the Rochester Falcons, and nobody was open. That's the reason that he couldn't throw it to anybody.
Now, yeah, Phillips looked like he might have been open, but he was too far behind Davis. I don't think Davis could have threw across his body.
Well, Davis is looking right. He's never come back and looks left. He's looking over the middle of the field. Nobody's open. He's got to run the ball out of bounds. Tries to dive there at the last second, get a couple extra yards, but that still sets up.
About 3rd and 12.
3rd and 12. I say it's a long way to go yet.
So another passing down now. 2 receivers split and 2 men in the backfield for Davis. He'll drop back, has some blocking, and goes across the field. Mosier on the sideline, and he won't get the first down, so it'll be 4th and about 3 or 4 yards to go.
The only way for that play to work for 12 yards is that ball's got to be thrown right now. Right now, Mosier's not ready. He holds the ball a little long. Mosier finally gets the ball. It's a long throw across the field that allows the defenders here to come up and make the tackle. Otherwise, if that ball was thrown on a spot, he would have had a chance for a first down. He didn't. Got a timeout on the field. Kimball's taking a timeout. They're going to decide whether they want to go for this 4th down play.
Yeah, it's that part of the field where you might want to take a chance and go for it. And the way the Kimball Knights have been moving, it wouldn't hurt to do that.
Yeah, it's that no man's land type area where they can actually punt the ball. The ball goes in the end zone. They're only giving up 20 yards on possession.
The Rochester fans on the sideline.
Is that a new rave haircut, Dave?
You never know. You just never know.
This is going to be a key play right here if they can convert and go down for a score. 9th play coming up on this drive. 10 plays on the first drive, so they've been controlling the clock. There's 20 seconds left here in the first quarter only.
For the first quarter, eaten up very quickly. The Kimball Knights having 2 possessions so far here in this first quarter, and 2 long possessions as they have controlled so far here in this contest. They have controlled the ball very well.
They are going for it, so big play right here, Dave.
Davis lines up in the slot. That's Jeremy Davis, Jeff Davis. the quarterback, and a single back, and that is Conrad. They hand off to Conrad in the backfield, and he's hit for a loss, and the Falcons come up big.
They sure do. There's a straight handoff, no fake that time. I thought the quarterback was going to roll a little bit, try to buy some time, but he didn't. He handed it off right away to Davis. Couldn't get around the corner.
Looked like Brian Lee out there making the tackle. Let's take a look.
Here he is handing off. It's a straight handoff. Conrad couldn't make the turn there. Excellent tackle by number 46.
Yeah, Brian Lee.
Brian Lee. Brian's 6'4", 237 pounds, and he's hurt.
Yeah, Brian made the tackle. He kind of flung him down, and it looks like somebody might have landed on him. Yeah. Falcons now with the ball, 1st and 10, ball at about the 42-yard line. Handoff right up the middle, and a good run there by Jason Clark. Clark, the senior, 5'11", 190. And that will end the first quarter of play with the Kimball Knights leading 8-0. And that 2-point extra point could be a big one, Bob, as we look at this contest being this close right now. That 2 points might come in handy for the Knights.
It forces them to make a decision after their first score whether they think they can come back later on and put pressure on them to score again. So it was definitely an interesting call early in the game, and I liked it. It was exciting.
Yeah. And now, because of that, hey, the pros are doing it. So.
That's true. That's true. I think it makes the pros game a little more exciting. Although the Lions, when they had their opportunity last week to go for 2, they decided to just go for the 1 going to overtime. Mm-hmm. There is the overtime situation here in the high school football is a little different.
Yeah.
It's not sudden death.
Yeah.
You know, you have a little bit more opportunity, so it's a tough call.
And it's a lot tougher when this field seems a little bit smaller when you're playing.
Well, you're only going 10 yards when you're playing. You're talking about a smaller field. It is quite a bit smaller. But they say the 10 yards is the toughest 10 yards in football because the defensive backs don't have that far to cover. So they can pinch in, they can cover the run a lot better.
Defense can tighten up. And that time, the Falcons were not ready for a 2-point extra point attempt.
Well, nobody was ready. I'm sure you
threw us off. Here we go to start the second quarter. 2nd down and about 5 for the Falcons. I formation in the backfield. Pro set with the receivers. Straight up the middle again. And a big run again by Jason Clark. Clark breaks through for the 1st down and more.
You're going to see an excellent trap play right here by Steve Korzeniewski, the 64, the guard. He's going to pull. You can see him right here. Actually, it's 66, I'm sorry. He comes in and he pulls. He traps him in there, blocks his back, and he goes in for a great gain. Tried to tackle the ball there, tried to pull the hand. Ball away from the hand. Smart, they teach him that. 1st down.
1st and 10 for the Falcons. Everybody's coming here for the Knights. And the Falcons still seem to get a little bit out of it.
About 3 yards on that dive.
And it's again Jason Clark on the carry.
Clark's got good size. He's 5'11", 190. That's a strong, low to the ground runner. There are some runners now that are going 5'9", 5'8", Barry Sanders, Dermot Thomas, that type of runner. Seems to be more effective running in the middle of the line like that.
Because you lose them in between all those big guys.
Exactly.
Here we go. 2nd down and about 8 coming up for the Falcons. Again, the familiar pro set I formation in the backfield. Fumble and picked up. No, it's a loose ball, and it looks like Kimball may have it. The handoff went to Mike Collins, the freshman, and a tough break for this freshman. One of the fastest guys on the field. Goulet there to pick it up.
Let's take a look at the handoff. Let's see if it's clean. Right here. You take a look right here. Here's the handoff. We'll see if it's clean. We can't see the ball. He did not put it away. Never had control of the ball. Ball's on the ground. You see him right there? He should have just fell on it right there. He should have just fell on it, but being a freshman, he doesn't have the experience to know that when the ball's on the ground, you need to get possession of the back. You see right there's the ball. And Kimball does get possession back.
And it is Dave Goulet, the defensive end, getting that.
It's a tough break for Rochester. They were driving the ball, too.
Yeah. Terry Powers' team with the ball offensively again. Back to throw is Davis. Davis going deep. He's got double coverage, and he's got his man.
What a catch.
Into double coverage, he gets number 19, Brian Issett, for a huge gain. And that was just threading the needle, Bob.
Again, that 6'1" frame, he was able to go above both defensive backs. He was double covered, and I'll tell you what, he was covered well. The pass is excellent. Watch this pass. It just definitely throws the needle. You can see he's got one defensive player here. Here comes the second one over here. The ball was perfectly thrown over the left shoulder, and a good catch. Big gainer down to the 16-yard line.
And that has stunned the Falcon crowd here. With 10:32 and counting down in the second quarter. Conrad on the carry, and he's met straight up by the Falcons. Number 33 down there. Hitting him straight up. Butch Black, the linebacker.
Conrad's coming up without the ball, though. I mean, where is the ball? Let's take a look here. Here's the handoff. There's Conrad. He runs in the line straight up. Now look for the ball. Where does the ball come? Does it fall out? I don't know. I still don't see it. There's Conrad. He does have the ball. There it is. It does fall out right here.
Before he was down.
Before he was down, that ball was loose because he was on the ground. I did not see the ball. Conrad runs straight up, and that's a problem because you can get hit in the breadbasket and lose that ball quite a bit.
Conrad's a big guy for running back. I'm tall-wise, 5'10", 175.
Davis is 6 of 7 for 123 yards so far in the first half.
And here he goes to the air again. Into the end zone. He's got his man. Overthrew him. Intended for Mosier, and down there covering was Darren Griffith, the monster back for the Falcons.
And Mosier's wide open. He doesn't have a back by 15 yards around him. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it right here. This is actually a pretty good pass. You're going to take a look right here. He just throws the ball a little high, but take a look where is there a defensive back anywhere with him right there. He's got 15 yards. He's got nobody near him. That pass was on target. It's a touchdown.
Let's go down to Joe Abramson.
Well, Dave, Bob, Rochester just suffered a big loss on defense. Number 46, Brian Lee, 6'4", 237-pound defensive end. Aggravated an old knee injury right now. They're not sure if he's going to come back in the game, but that's a huge loss.
So a tough break defensively for the Falcons, and the Falcons come up big, though, here as they sack Davis for a big loss.
I think they knew that Davis was going to pass in that 16-yard zone right there. That's his target market he wants to go at. They sent the linebackers this time. Let's take a look. He never had time. As he's going back to pass, you could take a look right here. Here comes the linebacker straight up the middle. Puts the pressure on him, and the defensive lineman finishes it off. That was 67 that time. Walter Nigio. I like that name, Nigio.
Yeah. So the defensive backs, Darren Griffith, Brian Alf.
There's Brian Lee. He's got a bad knee. We don't know if he's coming back in. As we're talking, the attempted field goal is no good. We apologize for that.
So the Kimball Knights end up empty-handed on that drive, but a big spark in that drive was a big pass play to Issett, and that'll just show you how quickly the Kimball Knights can strike now.
Well, the key to that pass was he threw it on the outside left shoulder. Didn't throw it back into coverage. He had help coming in from the inside. He threw it outside, and it was a great catch.
Mark Bergen, the quarterback, number 4, goes out there now for the Falcons as they have a long way to go. Ball at the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20-yard line. That's where they'll start. And one receiver down to the bottom, Battershell, number 9, and in motion is number 80, Lawrence. It goes back, and this is the play they lost it on, out to the freshman, number 28, Mike Collins. Again, one of the fastest guys on the team, and they've got him in there trying to get some speed out to the other side because it looks like Kimball is just burning him with speed.
Yeah, he's got good speed. He gets to the outside. That time it wasn't a handoff, it was a pitch. Maybe he was able to see the ball better that time and got a few of his butterflies out. When you're a young freshman like that, first time you touch the ball, you definitely are a little jittery.
Aaron Holloway, number 40, out there to make the stop for Kimball, forcing him out of bounds. 8:52 left here in the second quarter. In motion again, Lawrence. And I don't know if they're going to get a couple yards out of this, maybe, and it'll be third and short yardage coming up.
Offensive line blocking scheme straight up that time. There was really no pull, no traps. Straight up blocking. There's not a big weight advantage on either side today. Both teams are about 200, 210 pounds on the line. There's Brian Lee again. He's starting to be walking a little bit better.
That's number 46. And he had something on that knee when he was coming off. You know, he had some kind of support there. So it was hurt before. As Joe said, he's aggravated an older injury. And that will hurt defensively. Third and about 2, a long 2 for the Falcons, going to the air and complete on the sideline. Complete. No, now he says it's out of bounds. Well, the ref showed a catch, and then he said it was out of bounds. And a tough break for the Falcons.
We'll
Let's
have to
take
check
a look.
the replay here. Let's take a look, see if he was able to get a foot down in bounds. It seems like a nice pass. He got some time as the rollout opened up the time for him. Let's take a look at the feet after he makes the catch. Take a look down here. There's the catch. It was a beautiful catch, and here's the feet. Out of bounds right there. Definitely out of bounds. Good call by the ref. The foot was on the line.
Scott Ross down there, number 20 on the reception. And now a timeout called by the Falcons as they are not sure about what they've got down on the field. I don't think they've got enough guys. What do they got? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Nope, they had
5,
10.
6, 7, 8, 9.
There's the 39s coming out right now.
Yeah, they didn't have enough players down there. So rather than sacrifice a block punt or something deep in your own territory, they call a smart timeout. The Master Anglers program is back again this fall with a new season. And there you've got the Master Angler himself, Mark Gomez, and a couple of fish that he's caught. Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on TCI 63.
I'm not going to say anything about fishing this time this year. I promise that I'm not going to.
Oh, really?
Unless, well, I do have a new boat. I have to get Mark out on my lake. So
Oh, you do?
last year when we went out, we didn't catch anything, so this year we are going to.
That's why you're not talking about it.
There's another new wave here.
There's a new wave here.
Yeah.
That one is for sure.
Yeah. They could have a big R right here or something like that. You like the Michigan, how they paint the things on the back of their head. Just pull up that ponytail and paint something on the back.
But we're not saying he's Dennis Rodman.
No. I said paint. I didn't say tattoo.
Okay.
Paint comes off with time, turpentine.
Here we go, 4th and 2. Falcons to punt, taking their time. They're trying to draw him off sides, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, they only needed 2 yards, and 5 yards would obviously gave him the first down. Shank punt, but he gets an excellent roll.
Yeah, Ochoa, the punter, gets a great roll, and it rolls inside the 35-yard line to about the 33 or 34. So the Knights get it back offensively, and they have been successful moving the ball. They've scored only on their first drive, though, and 7:48 left here in the second quarter. We have not seen a score in this quarter yet. 8-0. Kimball leads on a big 69-yard drive they had to open the game.
We've seen some sparks on the offense for both teams. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to put together other than the first drive. A lot of that because it's an early game and both these teams are playing very hard here today.
Ball on the 34, 1st and 10 for Kimball. Conrad on the run, and he's brought down by number 22, Darren Griffith, the monster back for the Falcons.
Conrad kind of tiptoes through the line here. You can take a look. He's a straight up runner, as we've mentioned several times. He stands through. Look at a little tiptoe, kind of squirts through. Good tackle that time. Wasn't able to get by him. 22 on the tackle.
Griffith,
yes. Darren Griffith, senior, 5'11", 180 pounds. Good solid frame.
Referee's not ready down on the field. One of the Kimball coaches, the defensive coaches, coordinator, talking to the referee on the sideline.
Dave,
And the ref calling a timeout himself here.
Kimball's been a lot more effective in the air today than they have been on the ground. That's actually one of their better runs. They've been 12 carries for 33 yards total up to that point.
Let's hear the referee. I think he has something to say here. Does he? No. Looked like he was turning on the microphone. Nope, we're ready to get back. Some kind of confusion down on the field, though. And we're ready to resume play. 2nd down and about 4. And look at this. Bursting through for a first down is Jeremy Davis.
Excellent run that time for Davis. They actually had a nice option play in the backfield. It was a kind of a cross option where he handed the ball back on Davis on the dive play. Take a look right here. There's the dive. There's the second fake. The dive play takes effect. He was able to hold on to the ball, spun, and made an excellent game. Boy, he got knocked back there at the last second by number 88 for Rochester. That's Andrew Merritt.
Andrew Merritt, the safety. Getting in there, making the tackle. So you know when the safety's making a tackle, you know it should be a first down.
You're in the backfield.
Yeah, And they pick up the first down.
That's 2 excellent runs in a row, Dave.
1st and 10, ball on the 47-yard line. Davis back to pass. Davis looking deep again. He's got Issett one-on-one and just overthrows him. Intended for Issett out there on the coverage. John Brunn, the strong side halfback. Short side halfback.
That pattern took a little too long to develop. Issett was open, about a 15-yard fade pass there. Then he took it deeper, and when he took it deeper, the ball was overthrown. He still was open if he threw it to the outside, as he did earlier, but that was a perfectly thrown ball. This one wasn't.
Here you see Jeff Davis, the quarterback, airing it out tonight on a few plays. And the fans making sure they're drinking their water, too. The players have to get some, but so do the fans. Davis going deep. He's got his man and knocked out of his hands. Good play defensively by Brunn again, down there to knock it out of the hands of Jason Webster.
Webster almost came up with that tip, his own tip, actually. You could take a look here. He's rolling left. This is the toughest pass for a quarterback to throw. He's going to roll left. He's going to have to come to a complete stop almost in order for him to throw that ball. And as he throws it, here's the tip. Webster's going to tip it to himself. Right there, he has possession of the ball. The ball is knocked loose. It could have been considered a fumble, but I guess the ref said he didn't have possession long enough. I thought he did.
Yeah, it was close. Couldn't tell. He had his back to us. Couldn't tell whether he was bobbling the ball or not. Here we go. 3rd and 10. Back to pass again. Davis on a little screen, and reading it perfectly is number 45, Brian Alf. The defensive back came up to make a big play.
Excellent play. He saw that the linemen were coming down the line of scrimmage. He came up, pinched in, and made the play. Take a look right here. Here are the linemen. They're all going to move out. They're all going this way. You can see them kind of go. He reads that. He comes up and he pinches in and was able to shred the lineman, shred number 64 right there, and made an excellent play. That's a good read on the defensive back's part.
And a punting situation, big loss on the play of 5 yards, so it's 4th and 15. And asking for the fair catch is Clark. Clark will get it, and the ball will be at about the 24-yard line.
There's our score, 8-0. We're in the second quarter, about 5 minutes, 31 seconds left here in the half. Not a lot of scoring, but a lot of excitement.
A lot of excitement as 2 big teams from last year meet here in this 94 season.
Rochester needs to take some time off the clock, run down, go into halftime 8-8, 8-7, somewhere around there. They'll have the confidence, they'll have the momentum, everything will be going their way. A wave of blue, Dave.
As we take a look at the Rochester side of the field, you can see the Falcon blue. 1st and 10 for the Falcons. Handoff off tackle and running into his own player was Scott Ross. Ross running into his own blocker, number 66, Andy Tahey.
Aaron Holloway had excellent penetration that time, was able to stop him before he got any momentum. Deep handoff, didn't go anywhere.
No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10 coming up now for the Falcons. Their offense has really not done much. They've had, I think, maybe one big play, and that's about it. Mark Bergen, the quarterback, was 8 of 15 through the air last week. He's pressured now. He's got to bail out of the pocket, and he's got to unload here. No, he decides to keep it and go out of bounds, and he takes the loss of about 5 yards. Now maybe 4 now where they have it.
He had no receivers open. Actually, he had a couple offensive linemen down the field who should have been blocking for him. So it's a good thing he didn't throw that ball.
Jeremy Swanson, there you go. He was chasing him. Let's take a look.
He
stayed in bounds, Bob. They're keeping the clock running.
That was not a good fake, obviously. You can see that he's being chased by several of the Kimball Knights. And he should have really just gotten rid of that ball, threw it out of bounds. But he didn't, and you're right. They are keeping the clock running.
Also in there was Levesque. Russ Levesque, number 67. 4:10 left in the first half. On a draw, nothing there. Good read by the Kimball Knights. And on the carry, Jason Clark, not much.
Good safe call that time, trying to catch Kimball on a rush, trying to catch him go by on the draw play. Drawers or screens are good calls in that situation. They don't want to get intercepted deep in the territory with only 3 minutes and 48 seconds left here in the half. They try to punt the ball out of there and give them some tough field position.
So 4th and 14 for the Falcons. Good pressure put on by the Knights, and they're going to return this. No, they let it go. Mosier was setting himself up, but the ball took a bounce the other way, and the Kimball Knights have great field position in Falcon territory. The ball at about the 48-yard line.
Yeah, that ball was almost blocked, as a matter of fact. I was surprised he was able to get it off. Let's take a look right here. Here's the pressure. He barely gets it off. He had a little top spin on it, so that was able to get a few extra yards, and luckily he got out of the way. That ball obviously touches the receiver. It's a live ball. He got out of the way. Smart play. 48-yard line, 1st and 10.
Jeff Davis, the quarterback. He has aired it out here. Mosier in motion. And he goes to the air again. Issett along the sideline, complete for a 1st down and more inside the 30 to about the 27, 28-yard line.
That's an excellent route that time. He just finds a zone in the seam between the defensive back and the safety, and he fills the zone with the pass. Watch this pass. Let's take a look right here. He fills the zone. He's standing right in that spot. Excellent play. 1st down. Big passing play again. This team seems to move much better in the air than they do on the ground.
Issett came from the slot formation on that side of the field. Just did a little loop out toward the sideline and found himself wide open. 1st and 10, ball at about the 28-yard line. 2:59 and counting down. Look at this. Conrad on the run, still on his feet. Picks up the 1st down inside the 15-yard line.
Conrad came a little, looked like he was almost in a slot position, came across the line of scrimmage, took the ball outside, allowed his offensive line in order to push the defensive line back. You can see right here, he's going to come across the line of scrimmage. He's going to come this way, across the line. And here he comes.
What? I know.
Kind of filters through, makes the run, takes it downfield. He's a straight-up runner again. Hides the ball well. Excellent broken tackle there. 1st down.
1st down, and here's the run here as Jeremy Davis gets stacked up, but still manages to get a few yards.
Yeah, more than a few yards that time, Davis. Looks like he got about 5.
Yeah. Took a whole bunch of Falcons with him, but he picked up a good 5 yards there. So Jeremy Davis showing some strength there, some power, taking a few people with him for 5 yards. 2nd and 5 now.
He's 190 pounds. He's as big as some of the offensive linemen.
Yeah.
So, they're not going to stop him.
2:08 and counting down here in the 1st half. Davis rolls out to the right, has a man in the end zone double covered and overthrows him. Smart move by Davis, as there was nothing but blue back there, and a flag is down in the end zone.
So he might have touched the receiver as they're going for the ball. It was excellent coverage. They had 2 defensive backs on him. Let's see if the call is against the defense. Pass interference?
Yep.
Yep.
Pass interference on the Falcons, so that's why that's a smart move on Davis, because you throw it out of reach, even though your receiver might not be able to catch it, you might get a call down there, and they did. They picked up
the call was actually, I think he was pushed before the pass. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it on a replay. It looks like he was kind of limping or tripping before the pass was thrown.
Let's hear the call.
Okay, we have defensive pass interference against the blue. That's an automatic 1st down and half the distance to the goal line.
Big play now for the Kimball Knights as they pick up a 1st down, half the distance to the goal line. Let's take a look.
I don't think we're going to be able to see it from this angle. He's rolling right, which is the best way for him to throw it, obviously. He's going to throw it in the end zone. The defensive pass interference already is taking place right here. You can see he's tripping way in the back here, and it's already taken place before he throws the ball.
I think what had happened is the 2 defenders kind of nudged
into him,
nudged him out of the way. 2 minutes left here in the 1st half. 1st and goal from the 5. Jeremy Davis going forward and brought down maybe about a yard short. A yard or 2. Well, let's see. Picked up 2 yards.
Yep. Obviously, what they want to do here is they don't want to score too quick. They want to take their time in the huddle, take as much time off the clock as they can, because if they are going to score, they're going to have 3 more downs to do it. There's Davis. Those legs are turning. He tries to get down. I don't think he thinks he's down, but obviously he is. That wasn't him with the ball right here, by the way. That's who was taking the dive in the end zone.
John Brunn stepped up from the defensive backfield to stop it. And another good defensive surge put on by the Falcons to stop him again.
Davis again, the ball carrier.
Number 33 that time for the Falcons. Butch Black made an excellent play. He stacked them up and just kept those legs moving and pushed them right back toward the other goal line.
So the Falcons defense holding up here as the Kimball Knights try to put it into the end zone for the second time with 1:16 on the clock. A timeout called by the Kimball Knights. Let's go down to Joe Abramson on the sideline.
Well, the Kimball Knights calling this timeout. In the past, what Kimball's done in this situation is either run that boot pass, which we've already seen a couple times tonight, or go to the fade pattern. And with a guy like Brian Nissen, who's quick and tall and has exceptional hands, the guy's being recruited by some Big Ten schools, I think Davis is going to probably throw the fade into this near corner down here and go for the touchdown that way.
Okay.
I think Joe's right there. Yes, it's already got 3 catches for 76 yards. He's got that long, lanky frame, as Joe alluded to, 6'1". That fade pass is pretty much a no-brainer in regards to it's going to be tough to intercept or knock down if he's going toward the corner.
Let's see now. It's a 3rd and 3, and this is 4-down territory if you want to go for the touchdown, or if you want to
go. Field goal at this point puts them 2 scores up.
Yeah.
Potentially, you know, a touchdown and a field goal, but a touchdown you have to get the 2 points.
You're right.
So a field goal really wouldn't hurt them here either.
So here's the big play right here on the 3rd down. This will tell you everything you need to know. Here he is, Davis, bootleg, takes it himself, touchdown.
Bootleg left that time. Joe called bootleg is the wrong way. That was a planned scramble on Davis's half. He wanted that corner. He knew that he could get there with that speed. You take a look right here. He's running all the way. Tries a little fake there, frees the linebackers. That speed takes him outside, and he just gets in the end zone for the touchdown. Good run by Davis.
So a 3-yard run by Davis makes it 14-0, and now they will go for the extra point. Let's see. They go for the boot. It is up. It is good.
Terry Powers made an excellent call that time. Getting Davis to the outside, the fake froze the linebackers out, and they were able to get in the end zone. That's a big score here with 1 minute and 11 seconds left in the second quarter. That doesn't give the Rochester Falcons much time to come down to put any points on the board.
15-0, and that drive started at the 48-yard line.
48-yard drive? Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. And a good field position for the Knights pays off again as they took it right down the field. Now it's up to the Falcons to see what they can do with 1:11 left and see if their passing game can match Kimball's here with this little time left on the clock. Or you might even just want to go to the locker room and kill the clock here. Let's take a look at what kind of field position they get first.
That's going to be the key, is how they return this kickoff and see the field position.
Back to receive is number 28, the freshman. That is Mike Collins, and number 44, Jason Clark. And they kick a low squiv, so one of the up men gets it. And taking it is number 31, Mike Vito. Vito falls on it at about the 34-yard line, so not bad field position, but not great either for the Falcons.
Well, it allows them at this point not to think about going for the touchdown because now they're far back enough.
Kimball's drive, 8 plays, 51 yards, 2:13 off the clock, and 3-yard run by Davis capped it off.
And you wonder why it wasn't a 48-yard drive, because there was a penalty in there.
That's right, knocked him back.
That's right.
So my calculations were wrong because I forgot about that penalty. The throw to the sidelines, incomplete, and stops the clock as Bergen intended out there for number 20, Scott Ross.
Now the question remains right here. If Rochester isn't able to move the ball and they've got a punt after 3 passes, that still gives Kimball time to potentially come down and score. So they've got to think about that right here. Since the first pass didn't connect, they might just elect to run the ball and run the clock out.
Let's see what they do. 2nd and 10. Bergen has one back, and that is Jason Clark. Bergen rolls out. Clark misses his man to block, and he gets a clip call. What do we got here?
That's the clip right there.
Yep, there it is.
There you go.
Well, Clark put himself in that situation. He just barely touched the guy and let him in to go after Bergen, and then he said, oh, I'm supposed to block that guy for a second. Then when he went back to block him, it was a clip. Let's take a look.
Now he's going to roll this way. He's going to roll around to his left. That's the toughest place to throw the ball. Obviously, because you have to come to a complete stop to throw it. And he never stops. He's looking. He doesn't see a receiver. He's got to get rid of that ball. Throw it out of bounds. He doesn't
and
do it.
there's the clip right there.
Yep, there it is. He actually set that up himself. 39 seconds left. Terrible field position. 3rd down. And I believe Kimball's got 1 timeout left, so they can actually stop the clock here if they need to.
Well, they're knocking him way back. Take a look at this.
It's the point of the foul, Dave.
Yep. Inside the 15-yard line. 39 seconds left, so really, if they don't kill this clock, they're in trouble.
There's a timeout.
And there's a timeout called by Rochester. They've got to think this one over.
That's a smart call. They got to think what they want to do, whether we run the timeout here. They don't want to get themselves in a position with a sack, so they'll probably just want to run it.
Stay tuned right after the game for the Roadshow video program tonight at 9 p.m. right here on TCI 63. Do you think he's going to pull the trigger on that thing?
That's a pretty big gun he's got right there. I'll tell you that. Pat doesn't look too worried about it, though. Bubba says, whoa.
What do you think? What do you think the length of this thing is?
That's an 8-incher at least.
Is it? What is that?
That's a big gun. We'll just say that.
Is that the kind Clint Eastwood uses? Anyway, I wouldn't trust Bubba with a gun like that the way he was smiling.
No matter what kind of ammunition's in there.
On the other side, these are the Rochester fans not smiling too much here as their team has not been able to get on the board. The Kimball Knights have dominated offensively, 15-0, surprising everybody on the first score with a 2-point conversion and put themselves up in a pretty good position right now, 15-0 over the Falcons. Falcons right now have put themselves in a tough position, 2nd down and 30 to go with 39 seconds left here in the first half. The straight dive and busting loose is Jason Clark, and Clark got a pretty good chunk of yardage back, but they will try to run out the clock here as it continues to go.
Good call that time on Rochester as they're lining up quickly. They've got 20 seconds down and counting.
There you see the run. And as Clark twists and turns towards the end to fall for anything.
He's got to hide that ball. I'll tell you, that ball is wide open.
Yeah, Bergen will let this clock wind down, and they may even get a penalty on this if they don't snap it.
No, they have plenty of time. They have 20 seconds to start.
Yeah, there we go. They get it off right before the clock says 0, out to the sideline, overthrown, and that will be the last play of the half as the Falcons have to go in and regroup, and the Kimball Knights go in very happy. There you see Jeremy Davis and Issett, the key player Issett in that first half for the Kimball Knights. Knights lead it 15-0 here at halftime. We'll be right back right after these messages.
If you wish a video cassette of TCI Sports, the cost is $25. Send a check payable to TCI, along with your name, address, and the names of the teams that played in the game, to TCI Sports Videotapes, 4500 Delamere Boulevard, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073. Remember to tell us which game you wish to receive. And thank you for watching TCI Sports.
The TCI game of the week this week, we're at Rochester High School. The Kimball Knights lead 15-0 over the Falcons here at halftime. The Falcons and the Knights taking the field now. And here we see the stats. 78 yards rushing for Kimball, 33 for Rochester, 137 yards passing for Kimball, 0 for Rochester. Total yards, 215 to 33. 10 first downs for Kimball, 2 for Rochester. Turnovers, 1 for Rochester. And the time of possession definitely in favor of Kimball with all those stats. Let's take a look at some of the scores here. Here's the first one, Kimball. And this one is a 6-yard run by Jason Webster, getting into the end zone, and he had set that up with a previous play to that, getting it. And here's the extra point, a big 2-point conversion to Issett that kind of made it an 8-0 game and really set the Falcons off balance. Here's Davis on a run, a bootleg 3-yard run, and the second score, and that's where we stand, 15-0 right now. Let's go down to Joe Abramson before the kickoff here. He might have some insight on the second half. Joe?
Well, guys, in the first drive, Kimball moved the ball down the field with relative ease, just throwing little 5-yard patterns underneath the zone and letting the receivers like Issett, Mosier, and even Webster take the ball and get the yards after the catch. Rochester adjusted, bringing their linebackers and D-backs up a little bit. and kind of shut down Kimball's offense for a while. Near the end of the half, they started moving those out patterns to about 10 yards downfield, started to move the ball again. Rochester once again adjusted and kept them out of the end zone until just before halftime. Look for Kimball sometime early to run something like a hitch and go, get the D-backs to bite, send Issett deep, should get an easy touchdown out of it if Rochester's defense keeps doing like it has been.
Okay, thanks, Joe, and that's something that we can look for. Joe brings up some good points, Bob. Now that the Falcons have been stung a couple times by that pass, they may come in a little bit, and that'll set up the deep one.
Well, one thing, too, that Kimball was able to do near the end of the second half was able to run the ball better than they had earlier in the game. At one point, they had 12 rushes for 33 yards. As you can see on the halftime statistics, they had 78 total yards rushing by the end of the second half. So in the last drive, they basically got most of their rushing yards. So they're able to run the ball a little bit better in the second half here. They're going to be able to control the clock and basically win the game. If they keep the ball away from Rochester, that's going to be the difference in the game.
And that was the key, really, in the first half. Rochester did not have the ball much, and you could see that by the offensive statistics, that the Falcons need to come up big offensively here to start the second half and get some momentum going. Otherwise, the Kimball Knights are just going to keep the ball away from them and take those long drives and either get them into the end zone, make some points out of it, or really just kill the clock.
One of the things the Falcons have to do a little differently in the second half is when they roll the quarterback, they've got to roll him right. Allow him time to throw the ball on the run. He's rolling left. Twice he rolled the ball. He rolled left and wasn't able to throw the ball because he was being chased, and that really made a big difference. One, he had a clip on, threw him back down to the 15-yard line. Tough field position. They kicked the ball away. Gave excellent field position back to Kimball, and Kimball came down for the score. So that made a big difference.
So now that we've set up the second half, we're ready to start it. Davis will do the kicking. The quarterback, Jeff Davis, will kick. Back to receive our number 28, Mike Collins, and number 44, Jason Clark.
This first drive is really important for Rochester. They need to control the ball. Even if they don't score, they need to take some time off the clock and keep Kimball's defense on the field.
And we are underway here in the second half. A big boot landing at about the 2-yard line, taken there by Jason Clark. It's past the 20. And a gutsy play by Clark as he picks it up at about the goal line and brings it out to about the 46-yard line.
What a run.
And that's what the Falcons needed to fire him up, and let's see if that happens on offense. Jason Clark and a big return.
That's a huge return. You're going to see the ball right here. We're going to use the telestrator to show you where the ball bounces. It bounces straight up, and he almost has to take the ball. You're going to take a look right about here. That's where he's able to get the ball. Now watch it bounce straight up. It's straight up in the air. He doesn't know if it's going to go in the end zone. He's got to take the ball. It comes back to the 1-yard line. Now here's the return. His blocking is set up well. He runs the ball straight up field. That's a good return right there. He's running at full speed and an excellent tackle right at the end. 53-yard return.
And the flags fly now down on the field as the Falcons set up offensively, and right away they come up with a penalty. So that'll hurt the offense right off the bat. Let's hear the call.
Dead ball foul against the offense for illegal procedure. Repeat first down.
That's where they're having their problems right now, is they've got to make sure that they keep the ball on the ground, and if they do, they got to make sure they open up some holes here. Let's take a look at the offensive line, see if they fire out.
Falcons need to get in sync here. The monster back comes up quickly for Kimball, and they stop it. Going in there, Aaron Holloway, one of the linebackers, filled one of the gaps, and that caused some confusion on that right side of the Falcon line.
The quick pitch that time is able to read the blockers and slither through to get the 5 yards back. Sets up 2nd and 10. You're going to take a look right here. Here's the quick pitch. The offensive line pulls. He's able to take the ball around the corner, and right there breaks a block, breaks a tackle, gets 5 yards.
And you saw number 40, Holloway, on the ground, but he's the one who kind of forced it outside.
I think it was a little bit designed for outside. There's a quick pass. There you go. He's wide open.
The pass play complete for a first down, and the Falcons come up big. Kevin McCann on the reception, and Bergen gets his first completion out there for a big gain for the Falcons, and that sparks him, especially after the penalty, Bob.
Good quick pass here. You're going to see he take 2-step drop back and throws it out in the flat. He is wide open. It's an excellent pass, and he'll get some of his confidence back. There's the broken tackle right there. An arm tackle, he gets through, and right at the end, the tackle for a first down, though. Big play there. They needed that for this drive.
1st and 10, and another big gain. The Falcons running the ball well now. Scott Ross on a big first down carry for a first down for the Falcons as they get inside the 20.
The key to that play, the guard sealed his block on the inside, open up that hole on the outside for him. Excellent play. The offensive line definitely held the blocks that time. That's what's going to make the difference if they can do that.
The Falcons coming out inspired here in the second half. Just underway here in the third quarter. First and 10, and Bergen is sacked. Getting in there quickly, number 35, Goulet. Dave Goulet, the defensive end, and Bergen didn't know what hit him.
Goulet shows some excellent quickness this time, coming in from the outside. He's going to come in here. He's going to make the play. Kind of lost the illustrator. There's Goulet coming in. Excellent quickness, held on for the tackle. He's quick. He's been on quite a few tackles today.
Yeah, Goulet has been in it. 10-20 and counting down now here in the third quarter. The first drive of the second half. And the Falcons find themselves in a 2nd and 20. The pitch. Back to Ross. Ross cutting it outside. And the Knights get him down there. Gain of about 4.
He had blockers. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to have the patience to wait for his blockers. You're going to see him pick the ball outside this time. And look at the blockers. He's got a pulling guard and a tackle in front of him. Somebody trips, there you go. Somebody tripped 44 in front of him. He wasn't able to wait for his blockers. If he got by 51 for Kimball, that's Brian Henniger. If he got by him, he had some open daylight. A little shirt tackle that time.
3rd and 17. Goulet and Cleaver, the defensive ends. And Halvik, and here, short on that 3rd down. That was Jason Clark again, and it'll bring up a 4th and long here for the Falcons.
They're going to have to go for it at this point. They have a tough angle. They do have a good kicker who was able to kick a 49-yarder in practice. That's Paul Dressler. He had a 33-yarder last week, so he does have a good leg. Looks like the wind is a side wind, so it shouldn't affect him too much if they decide to go for the kick.
Yep, that looks like what they're going to do here. In there to hold is Battershell, number 9.
Be a 38-yard attempt.
And it looks like the wind might even help him. It's blowing in that direction. The kick is up, and it's going to be short. Short and a little bit wide to the right, so the Falcons on their first possession show a little bit of spark, but they just couldn't get it into the end zone.
That kickoff return set it up, but they weren't able to capitalize. But they were able to take some time off the clock, as I alluded to on the opening, keep Kimball's defense on the field. So that could weaken them here later on in the second half.
Give credit to the defense of Kimball. There you see Swanson, Jeremy Swanson, one of the defensive tackles. Levesque, also the tackle. We mentioned Marcus Cleaver and Dave Goulet, the defensive ends. The linebackers are Jeremy Davis, Aaron Holloway, and Brian Henniger. We'll get to the defensive backs later. As Kimball has the ball, Conrad on the carry, and he is stacked up right away in there, number 41 and 39. 41, Phelan, and 39, Steve Scott.
Phelan's pumped up. I'll tell you, that defense really made a good play that time. They did not go for the fake. Linebackers came in and made the tackle in the backfield for a loss of 3 yards. So that defense now is fired up. The offense did a decent job, fired up the defense. Let's see if the momentum can turn here.
Jeff Davis, the quarterback. Pretty good passing yardage in the first half. See if he can add to that here on their first possession of the second half. Off tackle, wide open hole, and busting into the backfield, close to a first down, is number 32, Jeremy Davis.
You're going to see on the telestrator this time, you're going to see the tackle seal block to the inside. That springs them right over tackle. We've got a hurt player here.
Andrew Merritt coming off, the safety.
Okay, you're going to see the tackle right here seal a block off. He's going to come right back through here. Right there. He seals the block off, takes it to the inside, opens up the hole. I don't see 88. Let's see if he gets hurt at the end of the play. Looks like there's the tackle. Yeah, oh yeah, he got hit pretty high up that time. Probably took the wind out of him.
7:18 left on the clock. 15-0 the score as Kimball leads. And we missed the play out there. Mosier carried it.
Draw play for a first down.
For the first down.
Couple yards, didn't miss anything. Just the first down, that's it.
Yep.
There's 88 on silence, so he's holding his wrist. He got hit up high probably by the helmet.
Yeah, that's the kind where you sandwich your wrist in between the pads. Davis to pass, looks downfield. He's got a man short, or really enough for the first down, and it's complete to Mosier. So Mosier, 2 consecutive first downs.
You're going to take a look at a different formation this time. They're going to run 2 guys in a slot near the inside. And what they're going to do is they're going to circle them. You can't see them here. They're down in the left-hand corner. They're going to circle down around, and Davis rolls right. There's that rollout that Joe Abramson alluded to earlier. He rolls out to give himself time. There's one of the slot men coming back over the middle for the first down.
Good job by Mosier. Good concentration as he slipped and picked it up. Here's another run play for Kimball as you see number 23 in there, Kevin Phillips on the carry.
Kimball's really starting to mix it up now, David. They're running the pass and the run plays, pretty much at will. They're getting first downs back-to-back, second down and 6. That opens up a lot of possibilities here for that short rollout or a run.
2nd and 6 now. Power eye in the backfield. It's the first time we've seen this. And Conrad takes it off tackle, and he's just pushed forward. Gain of about 3 or 4 on that. It'll be 3rd and short yardage coming up. 3rd and about 4.
Conrad has quick feet as he goes through the line. He'll do a little stutter step move. You can see right here. There's the offensive line surge. Watch his feet. There he goes. Little quick feet right there. Was able to get around the tacklers. Got him an extra 5 yards as his momentum pushed him forward. 3rd down and about 3. Quick feet, eh, Dave?
Yeah, very quick. You got to do that when you're straight up and down. 3rd and 4, 3rd and a long 3, whatever you call it. Mosier in motion. 1 single eye back, and that's Conrad. He gets it. He'll get the first down and more. Breaks into the backfield, close to the 25-yard line. He'll be short of it. Ball at about the 27. Big gain for the Knights again.
That deep handoff allows Conrad to see over the line and pick his hole basically as he goes through. He does a good job that time reading his blocks. Here's the deep handoff. You can see him come back now. He's 5 yards in the backfield. Conrad takes the ball there. He sees his holes outside, cuts it back up. Nice move right there. Was able to get around the pinching defensive back and gets the first down.
Good downfield blocking, too, by Phillips as he just took his man deeper and deeper and opened up some more yardage for Conrad. 1st and 10, ball at about the 27-yard line. Phillips takes it wide open hole up the middle for another first down, and the Kimball Knights just moving the ball offensively at will almost.
Offensive line is doing an excellent job blocking up front. That's a straight up blocking scheme. You can see right here, it's a quick handoff right up the middle. Eventually he'll snap the ball. There he goes. There's the quick handoff. Offensive line seals their blocks. Excellent hole. Runs it through for a first down.
And Nizio coming off, he is hurt, and that's a key player to have out. We've called his number a lot defensively. So another key injury here for Rochester, and they cannot afford to lose any more players. Nizio is really in pain and just frustrated. He wants to be out there, and those starters really hate to be out of the game. Hope he's okay. He came off on his own power. First and 10. Ball just inside the 15-yard line. Davis rolls out, has time, into the end zone, has his man Issett in and out of his hands. You won't see that often. What a great effort by Issett as he had to go to the ground to get that. Out there covering was number 82. And that was Brunn, John Brunn.
I thought it made it look a little harder than it actually was that time, Dave. He was wide open. It was a good throw. It looks like he lunged. Let's take a second look. Here's the fake. That freezes the linebackers. You can see him right there. They're actually pinching in. 33 comes up, knows he's going to throw the ball. Let's see if he really has to dive for the ball. Right down here in this corner, right there. Right off his fingertips.
Here we go. 2nd and 10 from about the 14-yard line. And not much that time for the Knights. It'll be a 3rd and long coming up now for Kimball.
10-play drive so far, Dave. 68 yards, taking over 4 minutes off the clock. So this is what they needed to do, keep Rochester on the field and away from having the ball with potential score. If they score this time, it's going to really take the momentum right out of Rochester. We started the second half off in pretty good shape with that long return.
3rd and about 10. In motion, Mosier. Davis drops back, has time, unloads into the end zone and overthrown. Intended down there for Issett, and covering down there was Brunn.
Well, it was a good call. Issett was open. It was just an errant throw. It brings up 4th down. They're in field goal range, so we'll see what they decide to do. The field goal will definitely make them score 3 times. So,
if you talk about some of the keys in this game, and you really about these two teams, you talk about the experience that Kimball brings to this game. There you see number 46, Brian Lee, the senior, one of the men with experience off the field and out of the game.
And also one of their larger players,
yeah.
6'4", 236.
Yeah, Kimball has 8 players offensively and defensively returning. The kick is blocked, so the Knights come up empty-handed. But it's something that we mentioned earlier. They killed a lot of the clock. Even if they don't get into the end zone or score, they kill a lot of the clock. They still lead 15-0, and Rochester still needs 2 scores.
Well, on top of that, Rochester's got to drive 80 yards, and even when they had the short field, when they were at the 50-yard line after the first 54-yard return, they still couldn't at that point put a drive together. So, you know, the key to Rochester's game is, number one, they don't have the big play offense to get down there in a hurry. They try to punch and run at you. They have the dive plays, and the passing game is short. So they're going to have a perfect drive in order to score.
Let's take a look as the Falcons start. Bergen, the quarterback. Ball at the 20. And it's Clark getting pushed forward for a little bit of a gain here for the Falcons. And going back to what I was saying, you talk about Kimball, they've got 8 returning players, starters from last year, on defense, 8 on offense. So, and a lot of these guys don't go both ways.
Well, they only have one. They only have one player that goes both ways
on the Kimball team.
On the Kimball team, that's right. So that tells you something right there. These guys are able to stay fresh. If they're able to keep the offense on the field for 4 or 5 minutes at a time, the defense gets fresh and able to come back and do the same thing.
And on the other side, you don't have that experience playing for you as you did last year. Here's one of the quick guys on the team. He's got to turn the corner, and that is Collins. Collins couldn't do it. Good pursuit, though, by the Kimball Knights. And now a Kimball Knight is hurt down on the field, number 40, Aaron Holloway.
You're going to see the pitch right here. The penetration is the key. You're going to see the penetration come in right here. Right here, that penetration forces him outside. He's pushing him outside. Collins has good speed, but he's not able to turn it up. When he does, there's a good tackle right at the end. But the key to this team here for Rochester, Collins is their big play guy. He's the guy with the most speed. Aaron Holloway going off the field. He's limping a little bit. That'll hurt him. He's a senior.
3rd and 10. Let's see what the Falcons come up with if they can go to the air. Bergen unloads, tries to get the screen off to Ross, and it was almost intercepted down there by Jeremy Swanson.
Yeah, that screen wouldn't have gone very far. You're going to see right here, Swanson was in good position. They're setting up the screen, throwing the ball back over the middle. He's looking all the way. Everybody knows it's a screen right there. Nice tip, almost intercepted. But what I was alluding to earlier is Collins is their big play guy. He's the guy with the speed. That's why they're trying to give him the ball any way they can.
Falcons again come up empty-handed. And again, they're short one player, looks like. Yep, 10 players down on the field. And coming out is Darren Griffith, the monster back defensively.
I used to always hate Dave when we played like that, and I'd be the one guy running out. Of course, I never came off the field, so it never happened.
Next week, it'll be the Troy Colts taking on the Adams Highlanders. And another great battle. This one will be up the road a little bit here in Rochester. Saturday and Monday at 7 p.m. right here on TCI 63. So tune in for that one.
I played at a small school where I went both ways. I never came off the field, so I didn't ever have to do that.
The Falcon Blue on the sideline. Not much to cheer about as their team is scoreless here with 3:33 left in the 3rd quarter. There is one of the Rochester players, number 67, Nizio, who came out with the injury. Back to punt. Ian Ochoa. And a flag down. Refs call timeout, and it's on Rochester. Could be delay of game. Let's see what it is.
Yep.
Nope. Illegal procedure.
Well, that could be a delay of the game, too, depending on how the ref calls it.
Let's see what they call.
Legal procedure, delay of game.
Let's go! Hold on. That dead ball foul, the legal procedure against the offense, a false start. Replay 4th down. Hold on.
They turned in a hurry to get rid of that ball.
Those players are ready to go down there. There we go. Ochoa punt, gets the pressure put on, and he gets it off.
Good punt.
A big punt right here. Look at this, gets a Rochester roll, and finally down inside the 35-yard line. So a great punt to get out of their territory and out of their end of the field for the Falcons. And the Kimball Knights, though, still have a lot of room to move around and a lot of room to work with.
That punt really helped them out. It was 55 yards in the air with no return. It took them out of the doldrums back in the corner there. Now he's going to force Kimball to run down and come down the field. Although that's what they've been able to do all day today. At least 3 times they've been able to come down. Twice they were able to score. 3rd time the field goal was blocked.
Let's see if the hitch and go will work here for the Knights, as Joe had called it. Joe Abramson had called. Here's the run. Look at this. Jeremy Davis breaks into the backfield, and he's gone.
Touchdown.
Jeremy Davis. Look at that. From the 35-yard line. 65 yards and the touchdown. Well, look at that. So Jeff Davis doesn't even have to go to the air now.
He did get tackled. You can see right here, he's got 4 guys tackling him. Unfortunately, they're his own guys. Well, that's actually after he scored, folks, so he did get 6. Let's take a look at the snap here. Will they go for 2? They've done it once today. We'll have to pay attention, which we didn't do last time, so here we go. Let's see if they snap it back to the kicker. At this point, they do. The kick is up and good.
So add another one on. And the score 22-0. And let's take a look now, Bob.
All right, let's take a look at the hole he gets as he's coming through. Here he goes. He breaks through right there. There's a nice hole. He gets wide open. Now watch the speed he turns on. He's able to actually get through that number 22 and just put it all speed. There's no blocks in front of him. He broke it in the open. Looks like everybody was pinching in, and he just went all the way. No hitch and go there, just a straight dive.
Jeremy Davis with good size, good speed, and 8 carries for 107 yards for Jeremy Davis. There, an injured player again down there for Rochester. Looks like number 47 down there for the Falcons.
He got hurt in that pile-up after the touchdown.
Yeah, it's Phelan, 41, Paul Phelan.
Take a look at where he's at. Obviously, he was chasing him, putting out all effort, and he probably just got a little leg cramp, it looks like right there.
It's like another leg cramp. We had one of those last week, and the player, you can tell when the player's in pain from those leg cramps.
Well, we've had pretty warm weather, though, today. It's been about 80 degrees, so it's a little warmer than usual for football weather. Although right now it's kind of cooling off, probably in the mid-60s with a steady breeze, so that shouldn't affect him very much.
Let's go down to Joe Abramson on the sideline.
Well, guys, besides losing the battle on the scoreboard 22-0 up to this point, Rochester's really starting to lose the war of attrition. You see Rob Morgan out on the field behind me. Walter Nizio got hurt on the previous drive, hurt his ankle. It doesn't look like he's coming back in. Brian Lee, we mentioned earlier in the first half, was knocked out. He's in street clothes already. I've got another unidentified player with his arm in a sling. We can't identify him because his jersey's already off. Kimball, on the other hand, hasn't had anybody seriously injured yet in this game. It's going to be real hard for Rochester to come back right now.
Thanks, Joe. And the player, Rob Morgan is on the sideline. That is number 41, Paul Phelan down there, the defensive tackle, who is hurt. And there you see number 67, Walter Nizio, the defensive tackle. He's out. So you've got a defensive tackle, both of them out. You've got your 2 starters, Paul Phelan and Nizio, both out of the game. And
it must be one heck of a cramp. They're still working there.
Yep. There you see the drive.
Not much of a drive. It was only one play.
Yeah. One play, 65 yards, 19 seconds off the clock. And that was mostly taken up during the snap.
Yep, he's limping off. He's trying to stay off it. Well, they had the big return last time. Let's see if Rochester can come back and come up with another big return. They need to work with a short field in order to score. Obviously, they're not a big play team. when they do try for the big play, they bring Collins in, and twice he's been stopped in the backfield. So they need to work with a short field, short passes, dive plays, get back in contention here, put some points on the board.
So there, number 41 down on the sideline, Paul Phelan, and on the other side next to him, before everyone else sat down, was number 67, Nizio. So both defensive tackles out for Rochester. That hurts. And Joe brought up a big point. And you know, when you come into the game and you don't have a lot of guys returning from last year, this really hurts the Falcons.
Well, it allows help Kimball's running game with both defensive tackles out of the game too. So watch him do that, and that might have made the difference in that hole.
Jason Thompson to do the kicking. And Kimball Knights get a whistle there. Jason Thompson. I thought I sounded like George Kelf for a second. Jason Thompson. Not that Jason Thompson. This is Jason Thompson, 6 feet, 185, senior end and linebacker.
Yeah, the old Jason Thompson is 6'4", 230 from Aurora, California, if I do remember correctly.
You are so right. There we are. We're tucked away in the little booth up here. Where are we? There we are.
Here we are, up here.
We're right up there.
I get to use the telestrator that time.
See, the band is right here, and we're up there. See, the band has a better view. They get better seats than we do.
We actually have to bend.
We've got little portholes to look out of, but we do have the telestrator. Thanks to the fine folks at TCI and Pat Collar for hooking it up every week. Really, Pat Collar for getting this.
Thank you, Pat Collar.
The kickoff again, this one fielded at about the 25. And a good return, still on his feet, breaking it outside. Look out, he's got speed. He's got speed. Mike Collins breaks it wide open for the Falcons, and they get on the board.
Wow, I tell you what, we just got done talking about the big play guy that they do have is Mike Collins. They were able to get him the ball. He was able to stay on his feet, break it through, and show that speed. What a play. He was the big play guy that they needed to have. That might put some life back into him. What a great run.
Collins had a fumble earlier, couldn't handle the handoff, and this time comes up with a big return and a big spark for the Falcons as Mike Collins took it from about the 25-yard line and a big 75-yard return for the touchdown.
That is the play that they needed. I'll tell you, that put some life back in this team. I said they needed to work with a short field, but that's as short as they get. Lining up for the extra point. They will go for the one, unless it's a fake. It's snapped and the kick. It's good.
It is good, and it's 22-7 now.
Well, that is a huge play, Dave, for this Rochester team. I mean, we could take a look at it right here. You can see the speed that Collins possesses. He's their big play guys that I alluded to earlier. Here's the kickoff. It does go on a bounce. He makes a good play waiting for his blockers. You can see he waits for a second after he gets the ball. There he goes. He's waiting for his blockers. He moves toward the middle. He sees them, makes the truth, goes outside. Now, see how many tackles he breaks. There's one. There's two. There's three. Gets on the outside. Oh, there's a clip. They didn't call it.
And now there's a whole group of players right here.
He just outruns them all. They kind of run into themselves. And this turns on the speed, goes all the way for the touchdown.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping him. When he was on the sideline, you knew that his speed was a big factor, and you're right. He just ran by everybody and kind of made everybody look like the Three Stooges there as they were bumping up into each other. And they took off.
Right. Decent crowd here tonight. Late arriving crowd, but it's always a big crowd here in Rochester.
So Royal Oak scores 3 times, and now finally the Rochester Falcons come back with a big kickoff return. Onside kick? Nope, they go deep.
Too early.
Jeremy Davis bobbles it and will be brought down at about the 20-yard line.
Oh, this crowd is fired up now, Dave.
They are. Keeping them inside the 20 is a big feat, and it's been tough to contain.
They were so quiet all night until Collins ran that back. And I'll tell you what, it just changed the complexion of the whole game.
Now, if this had started the second half, look out, it'd be a different game.
Here's a kick. Keep in mind, right here, if he puts that knee down, he's down. But he doesn't. He thinks about it. See, he was going to do it, but he bends over and picks it up. Puts the knee down, he's down. It was a smart play. He actually thought about it. Brings it back over the 20-yard line.
And the Falcons fired up and say, you're not getting past the 20 tonight.
Not today. Just short of it. 19.5, we'll call it.
The refs trying to straighten things out between the two teams, looks like. No flags were down, but just trying to control the players and warning them, really. As tempers can get a little out of hand right now.
Back in the game right now. You're going to look for this defense to be really fired up, try to force a play. Of course, as Joe Abramson alluded to earlier, that hitch and run pass, hitch and go pass could really come into play here. They start pinching in, they make the fake, they go deep. Guess what? This game's back out of reach.
Yep. 2:30 left on the clock here in the third quarter. Handoff off tackle, and Jeremy Davis is swarmed on. And you tell me that a big offensive play can't spark the defense. Look at this.
Yes, that defense held really nice that time.
Let's go down to Joe Abramson on the sideline.
Well, guys, if you're wondering what that conversation was between the captains of each team and the referee, basically just told them to shut up, stop talking to each other. It's a new rule in the MHSAA put in last January about trash talk. Beyond taunting, you really can't say anything to your opponents out there at all. It might be a little extreme, but they feel it's better to be on the safe side, and that's what that was about. They want both teams to just go out and play football, talking.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Jeff Davis rolls out, has all day, and finally finds a man and goes right past him. There to put a lick on him was number 82. And that was Brunn, but intended for 32, Jeremy Davis.
Davis had a good day on the ground, 9 carries, 107 yards. You see right here, he's rolling to his left. Tough way to throw. He comes to a complete stop. He's looking. Nobody's open. Then he finds him, throws back across. He wasn't looking for the ball. Davis was not looking for the ball.
But Brunn had him right there because he knew where Jeff Davis was throwing, and Brunn went right in that direction. Yep. And that's what probably threw Jeremy Davis off. 3rd down and 10, so the Knights now find themselves in a hole, and the Falcons' defense has rose to the occasion with 2 of their starting defensive ends out. Let's take a look. Oh, they break through. Take a look at this.
Hide the ball.
Out to the 45-yard line. And look at that.
They're running up the middle, Dave. What they're trying and taking advantage of is those 2 defensive tackles being out of the game. That's exactly what happened.
Marcus Cleaver, excuse me. Look at Cleaver go, and he has
right
not
up the
touched
middle.
the ball yet.
He stopped, then he just keeps those legs moving. He ran through an arm tackle right there, ran through another grasp, and what a run. Now you got to put the ball away, both hands on the ball right here.
He's throwing tacklers off him, too.
Like that. Oh, man, what a big first down run.
Finally brought down by Darren Griffith. But Cleaver, who had not touched the ball offensively all night.
26 yards that time.
Big gain.
Yeah.
Just when it looked like the Falcons had him. Mosier in motion. Davis has time again. That is so key for him. And Issett on the reception inside the Rochester Falcon territory, inside the 45 to about the 42-yard line.
Issett ran right by Mike Tyson and turned around and looked for the ball. The ball was right on target. Take a look right here as he drops back. He's looking for Issett all the way. He keeps his eyes right on him, throws the ball out. Excellent catch.
You got to hand it to that front line of Kimball. Chapman, Payne, During, Messing, and St. John. Also Shotwell, the tight end. They have done a great job for Davis in keeping him protected. And there you see a flag, and there's the inexperience of Cleaver as he was moving forward. He's got to stay with the line of scrimmage until the ball is snapped and then can go forward downfield. Well, he started heading downfield before the snap. So the inexperience of Cleaver hurts the Knights right here. Let's listen.
The dead ball foul. False start by the offense. Repeat. First down.
It looked like part of the right offensive line might have moved early, too. One of the defenders moved early, and it forced the offensive line. They jerked forward just a half a second earlier.
That probably added to Cleaver's motion forward, too.
He saw his offensive line go, so he said, oh, I better turn up.
Let's try it again. 1st and 15. Davis has time, unloads downfield, almost intercepted. Lots of blue shirts down there. And number 22, Darren Griffith, in and out of his hands. Let's take a look.
He's got plenty of time. He rolls right. There's that roll pass we're talking about, but he's got really no offensive receivers here. You take a look right there. It's right in his hands. He should have had that ball.
Yep, intended down there for Webster, but there were 2 defenders right in front of him.
That was a poorly thrown pass. He threw the ball low, and it wasn't high enough to get out.
Yeah, and that one you got to just loft it above the defenders and lead your receiver, but not much room down there to lead either. So Davis, instead of throwing it away, tried to force something there and got away with it.
He's now 10 of 18 in passing for 159 yards. So he's had a pretty decent day so far.
Yep. 2nd and 15. Davis back to pass. Has time. Unloads deep. Has Issett. He's got him at the 20. And brought down at about the 18-yard line.
One thing that Issett does, he runs good routes. You can see right on this play, he was able to look over his shoulder and take a perfect pass in. And it's the route that makes the difference. Davis knows exactly where he's at. He goes back in the pocket, excellent protection. 4-step drop back, and here's the throw. And look where he's at. Excellent route, right to the outside, perfect throw, first down.
Davis knew his mistake last time. This time gets it over the defenders and plops it right into the hands of Issett for a big gain at about the 18-yard line, 1st and 10 there.
That puts him over the 100-yard mark, about 108 yards for the day.
And let's take a look at Mosier. Look at this on a counter. And he scores. Mosier from the 18-yard line, and the Knights strike again on a 1st down play.
Right up the middle again. They're just taking advantage of those 2 defensive tackles being out. He had an excellent hole, and Mosier ran right by everybody.
With 10 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter, the Knights pretty much put this one away. Let's take a look at the extra point here. It'll be Thompson to kick. He gets it up, and it is no good.
It was a high snap. It was pulled down nicely, but it threw off his timing, and consequently missed the kick.
So that's where that 2-point conversion came in. Let's take a look
right here. You got a pulling guard. You trapped the linebacker coming through. Mosier takes the ball over the right tackle and pours on the speed for the touchdown.
Big block by Joe Messing as he knocked his defender down, and that was the key one to seal the block off as Messing knocked down the Falcon and got Mosier sprung through that line.
The key is the linebackers pinched in. Messing was able to take out a linebacker pinching in through the gap. And because of that, he got in the secondary. Linebacker wasn't there to come back and got a touchdown.
So Mosier with an 18-yard run, extra point no good, and it's 28 to nothing, or 28 to 7, excuse me. And here you see number 41, Paul Phelan, who had the cramp, the leg cramp, trying to get back in there defensively.
Let's see if they kick to Collins this time after the big kickoff return last time.
A low line drive. Ooh, let's say Collins gets it here.
He's waiting for his blockers.
At about the 20, makes a cut, and gets pretty good return out of it. Ball at about the 37-yard line. But the Knights say, not this time. We know we're going to keep the ball low and make sure you don't take off on us.
One of the points that I talked about during the halftime intermission was the rushing game for Kimball, how it came up in the 2nd half. Here's Collins right here. You're going to see him as he takes the ball out and get rid of that. He's going to come up and wait for his blockers. There he is. He's waiting for the blockers. Smart move, but now he's got to go upfield. You can't just stay there and be in a dead stop. You can't turn your speed on at that point. And because of that, he's able to be caught up with and tackled. He's got to be able to turn the ball upfield. That's one of the key things in returning kicks, is turning on the speed early. That makes them all great good.
And it looks like Collins is hurt. Number 28 is down, and it might be just losing your breath because a lot of guys piled on top of him. The drive for Kimball, 8 plays, 81 yards, 2:40 off the clock, and capped off by the Mosier run, 18 yards.
That was the last play of the quarter, too, by the way. What I was alluding to earlier, Dave, was talking about the rushing game, how it started coming on at the end of the 2nd quarter for Kimball. They've had 78 yards the first half, 177 yards rushing here in the 2nd half.
And here you see Collins getting his wind back. It looks like he just, people just landed on top of him as he had the ball in his gut, and that will happen. Yeah, it looks like he's having trouble getting his air back, getting the wind back, and he will probably get back in there.
I would say so. And again, the rushing game has really turned on. The 2 defensive tackles being out for Rochester really hurt him on the inside line. They're able to take the ball up the middle. They're pulling a guard now and then, opening up the middle and making the big difference.
And defensively, they're still out. The 2 defensive ends for Rochester.
Well, Brian Lee's out.
Yep, Brian Lee, number 46, went out earlier in the game. That's one of their defensive ends. And then you got Phelan, the defensive tackle, and the other defensive tackle, Nizio, went out. So 3 out of your 4 big guys on the defensive line.
3 of the 5 linemen are out,
Yeah.
and that's why they're able to run the ball much better here in the second half.
So a key point made by our analysts here tonight. Joe Abramson down on the field, Bob Griglak bringing some expertise to this game. And it's a 1st and 10. Ball at about the 36, 37-yard line. Look at this. And just shy of a 1st down, and a big run by Jason Clark. He's short maybe about a yard or 2. The ref will mark it back a little bit.
He might be
his progress. Yep, Clark gets up.
Jason runs the ball very hard. Doesn't have a lot of speed. You can see right here, he breaks a tackle. He's going to throw one of his own linemen on the side. There he goes. Push that guy out of the way, big number 74. Tries to push one of the defenders out of the way. And then he gets pinched at the end. 3 guys make a game tackle.
Aaron Holloway holding on, along with Mosher getting on top of that one on the stop for the Knights.
This old Derek Walecki out of the way, 6 foot 220, says, hey, I got to get out of here.
Gain of about 8. It'll be 2nd and 2 coming up now. Bergen on the handoff, and a good run by Ross. Scott Ross twisting and turning for a 1st down. Ball just across midfield, or actually right on the 50-yard marker.
It's good for a 1st down, stops the clock, 11 minutes, 19 seconds. The time is a factor right here against Rochester. They got to make sure if they get down to the score, they got to take as little time off the clock as they can because they're 3 touchdowns down.
First and 10. Ross got Ross in motion. Bergen with a deep drop back, and now getting pressure, unloads, intended for Scott Ross, who was open at about the 43-yard line, but the ball was thrown away.
He rolls out, gives himself some time. He does not throw the ball good on the run. We can see going right or left, he doesn't throw the ball good. This time he's able to elude the rush. Now watch this here. He's going to come here. He's going to get a good block right here from one. That's an excellent block. Gets around the corner, and there he goes throwing the ball. But watch this. There's nobody around him. He's got 10 yards around him. Throws the ball behind the receiver for an incomplete pass. He just does not throw the ball good on the run.
2nd and 10. We're in the 4th quarter here at Rochester High School. Ross hit at the line of scrimmage and maybe falls forward for 1 or 2 yards. The Kimball Knights have been in control of this ball game from the 1st quarter, and their 1st drive really taking it downfield easily, eating up a lot of the clock, and dominated really the entire ball game. The Falcons have struggled offensively, not been able to do much, and the only score that they have was on a kickoff return, and that has been by Mike Collins, a 75-yard return. 3rd and 9. Bergen back to pass, has time, looks downfield, plenty of time, has a man open, and he's got him. 1st down. Number 20, Scott Ross on the reception at the 35-yard line.
He had the time to throw it. Now watch his blockers in front of him here. You're going to see as he sets the wall up, he's able to set his feet up. There's his blockers right here. He's able to set his blockers up. He stops. Watch this. Does not throw on the run that time. He gets off a good throw, threads the needle. Good pass for the 1st down. Big play for Rochester. They finally got a drive going here. But he was able to stop and plant his feet, made the difference in the throw. He was able to throw it on target.
And he threw it with heavy defensive pressure down in the backfield, too. There's the run around the corner. Clark tries to turn the corner and gets pretty good yardage out of it, and close to a 1st down.
Impressive run that time. He was able to do some long strides to get around the corner. It looked like he might have cut the ball back up. That might have kept the defenders just from cutting that angle down. You see right here as he takes the ball outside. Watch the long strides. He's going to look inside. He says, nope, I'm not going to go inside. I'm going to turn it outside. I was able to turn the defenders back out here. They were able to stay back, and he gets around the corner. He's at 2nd down and about a foot.
2nd and short, and this is the 1st real drive the Falcons have put together in the contest. Straight dive right up the middle. Clark has it, and it looked for a second like he was going to bust and bounce outside for more yardage.
He's a good hard runner. I'll tell you what, he really shows me a lot of promise in here going outside on that last play, because I didn't really think he had that much speed, but he did show some good speed, showed some good strong running that time and got the first down. Stopped the clock with 9 minutes and 43 seconds.
Let's take a look.
He's able to get outside. He's going to get a little shoulder tackle right here. Comes in high, takes him down. It's called a bulldog move.
Good tackle by Jeremy Davis in there defensively. Take a look at Collins. He's in there now. Look out. He's got speed, but getting in there. And let's take a look. Collins trying to get to the first down marker, and I don't know if he made it.
I'll tell you what, when he's in the backfield taking a deep pitch, he has a hard time trying to cut that ball up. He doesn't know when to do it. Right now, the defense just runs by him.
Watch Goulette get in there, number 35, and he just ran right by him.
Exactly what happens. So watch here. You can see the defense coming. He's taking the ball way outside. There's the defense. Goulette goes right by him. 51 goes on the side right there. And he's able to turn the ball up and almost get the first down. He's just about 2-3 yards short. Actually gave him a favorable mark, about a yard short.
And the Kimball Knights call timeout now as the Falcons start picking up momentum and making some progress here offensively. Don't forget to tune in right after the game for the Road Show video program tonight at 9 p.m. right here on TCI 63. And you think Pat is acknowledging that gun, or is he saying, he's got to be kidding?
I don't think I even see any sweat on his brow. I don't, he says, come on.
I think Pat knows karate.
Oh, okay, I know that guy too.
And if he shoots him, Pat only bleeds on the inside. So he's got that heavy sweater on. I don't think you'll be able to see it. The fans here at Rochester High School looking on as their team has put a drive together here and can make this a ball game. They've got 9 minutes left, a lot of time left, and I pretty much counted Rochester out of this one with a lot of time of possession going to the Knights, but the Falcons have come back.
Clark's done a pretty good job here in this drive. He's run for 3 first downs himself, 43 yards on the drive. Gives him a total of 60 for the day so far, 14 carries. So he's starting to pick it up a little bit.
He is. He had a big night, a big day, I should say, last week with 165 yards rushing and 3 TDs. So Clark would like to match that here tonight if he can with the 9:18 remaining. In motion is Altz, John Altz, number 40, and he's set now. And now in motion is McCann to throw. Bergen into the end zone and bumped by the defender, but they didn't call it interference.
Well, I don't think he had a chance to catch the ball anyways.
Yeah.
The ball was thrown out of bounds. Whether or not that's what the referee was thinking, I don't know. But he had no chance to catch that ball.
Yeah, I could not see where the ball went. I lost it through the windows here.
Yeah, our view is not the best, we'll say that, but we're doing the best we can.
You remember where we were. If you were watching earlier, we're up in the corner in our little cubby hole, so
Actually,
to speak.
your view at home is the best that we got right there.
Yeah, that's it. You got a better view than we do. I formation, 2 receivers split down to the bottom. The handoff to Clark. Clark still muscles his way inside. Got the first down and more inside the 5. Let's see where they mark it. Looks like they'll mark it right on the 5.
Good run by Clark. He busted a few tackles. And he only needed a yard to keep in mind for the first down.
See, here we are. See, you can look
right here.
And I can look through this window here too. See, so
see this little pole right here?
That's in our way.
Problem. We can't see back over by the pole.
That's in our way. See, right here. And there's our cameraman, Mark Gomez. He's hungry. He's hungry right there. He's looking for food after the game is what he's looking for. Wishbone offense in there now for the Falcons. And the handoff, not a successful run for them this time, as it was 1st and goal, bring up 2nd and goal from the 5 now.
Kimball's going to try to tighten it up a little bit here. Clock is running, keep that in mind. It is not the ally of the Falcons.
Scott Ross on the carry. Let's take a look.
Wishbone offense, this time they're throwing it, giving it to the 3rd back, trying to look for blocking. Nice tackle that time by Kluwer.
So Cleaver on the tackle. Gets a little bit of help down there by Goulette. Wishbone again. And this time it's Clark. Clark finds a little hole and gets in as he cuts back and cuts right through for a touchdown. Clark in a 5-yard run. And the Falcons on the board again, and it's 28-13 now.
There's the end of the run. Clark going in the end zone for the touchdown. Again, they ran the wishbone with the 2 backs in front, blocking for Clark. He is able to take the ball into the end zone behind their blocks. So that closes the gap to 28-13. They're going to try to kick for the extra point here.
The extra point attempt is up. And it is good. So Dressler gets it through, and it's 28-14. So 8-10, a lot of time left, Bob.
Well, they took 3 minutes to score that touchdown. There was not a lot of time off the clock. Of course, the big play by Clark on the big run, and I'll tell you what, they're back in this ball game. They're only 2 touchdowns down. When all hope seemed to be gone, they're right back in it. Big defensive play coming up, big series coming up right here. If they're able to stop them 3 plays and out, they've got plenty of time to come down and score again. Keep in mind, they don't have that big play offense, so they're going to have to do it on the ground behind Clark.
And the band strikes up a number, and the cheerleaders now have a lot to cheer about. 2 scores now for the Falcons. Their first real offensive drive and their first real points to show for it offensively. And that's got to help the offense get fired up. Again, the first touchdown coming on a big return. And take a look here as number 67, that is Nizio, the defensive tackle, who's out with his ankle
up in crutches at the bench. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, already got crutches there, and we hope he can get back next game. Here's Rochester showing an onside kick here with 8:10 left here in the 4th quarter. And they've got to let it go 10 yards, and they didn't let them do that.
Well, the defense can actually pick the ball up, or the offense can pick the ball up anywhere.
Okay.
So if they touch the ball, they can take it.
Yeah, and the Kimball Knights don't let it go 10 yards. They get it right before the 50. So the Kimball Knights will start at the 48-yard line. The drive, 12 plays, 64 yards, 4 minutes off the clock, and a 5-yard run by Clark caps it off.
That's very true, because they got the, right at the end of the quarter, they got the ball, and they ran just about 4 minutes off the clock.
Yeah, on that onside kick, the kicker is trying to get a good bounce to make it
high enough to where they have to jump for the ball and have his team come under it.
Right, so it goes past 10 yards, and in the air will go over the 50-yard line.
Bounce.
Yeah, to pick up that onside kick. That time, the Knights fielded it easily. On the first down carry here for Jeremy Davis, picks up maybe a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9 coming up.
Keep in mind when you do that, Dave, you give the offense great field position. And now that Kimball's working with a short field, they're gearing up that running attack, running up the middle. That could take more time off the clock, so that could work against them.
Terry Powers, the first of the blue coaches there that you see towards us, closest. The head coach for the Knights. There's Conrad on the run, going forward for maybe 2 or 3 yards. It'll bring up a 3rd and long now for the Knights. So the Falcons, rather than burying the Knights deep with their defense, decide to go onside kick and get the ball closer to midfield for themselves, give it up to the Knights, and now the Knights have themselves a tough situation here, the 3rd and about 7.
It's a big play for Rochester right here. If the Falcons can stop them, if they can go in there, put some pressure on the quarterback, get the ball back, they still got plenty of time in this game.
Saw one of the many injured Falcons on the sideline. And here's a dive. Look at this. Conrad breaks through for a 1st down, and it looks like he fumbled the ball.
Nope. Ground cannot cause a fumble.
Let's take a look.
The ground cannot cause a fumble, folks. He's down.
I don't know if he fumbled when he hit the ground.
Looks like he was pulled by his waist. It looks like to me that's exactly what happened. And when he hit the ground, the ball popped loose. I don't know if we can see it here on replay. He did get a 1st down. Here's another look at it. He pops open the middle. This is where they've been picking on all day, going up the middle on a little trap play. As he goes up the middle, let's take a look as he gets tackled. You see right about here, he's going to be grabbed at the waist. There he is. Look at the ball. See the ball there. It's still open. He's flung to the ground right there. You really can't see it. It looks like the ground did cause the fumble. There's the ball right there. The ground did cause the fumble, so there'll be no fumble there. He is down. Yep.
When I saw him get flung around, I saw his head go back.
Yep, I saw that.
I was wondering if he had fumbled in the air when that hit happened, but good coverage there, and we saw it loose after he hit the ground.
It's an excellent camera angle, and tell you what, right there, we could really not see the ball because his back was to us, but our cameras did pick it up. Good job on the field.
So that'll bring up now a 2nd and about 8 coming up for the Knights.
He still looks under control. Terry Powers, the one in the middle right there. He's been at Kimball, what, 8 years now?
He's been there some time and had a good returning class this year, and that's what's helped him get a comfortable lead here in this contest. Jeff Davis to pass. Has his man complete. And he's got the first down. Complete down there to number 23, Kevin Phillips.
Nice pass that time. He was able to get, there was a low pass, but an excellent catch by Phillips. You can see right here, he's going to roll left and stop. He's going to plant his feet and throw the ball back over the middle. Phillips is going to come over the middle right here. You can see him right there. He's waiting. He circles around. Comes back over the middle. Watch the low pass, an excellent catch. Right off the turf. Nice catch.
Ooh.
Oh, he did drop the ball. Right there, he did drop the ball.
Well, the ref didn't see it, but we did.
Shielded with this body. Wow, talk about some camera work.
Phillips
here.
got away with it. Let's take a look again real quick before the next play.
Hit. Now watch it right here.
He has it on his fingertips.
Right there.
And then there it's on the ground, right there.
Right, lost it. No dive play. No
so
game.
A break for the Knights there as they get a first down.
And the key thing now is the clock keeps on running.
Yeah. Continues their drive. It'll be 2nd and 12 after the loss when we were away. A loss for the Knights, and that'll bring up 2nd and 12 now. 4:23 and counting here in the fourth quarter. 28-14. The Kimball Knights have led all the way in this one. One back in the backfield. In motion is Davis, Jeremy Davis. And Conrad will take it to about the 15-yard line, but flags are down. Gain of about 3 or 4. Let's take a look.
Usually that clip or holding area looks like a hold.
And looks like a holding call. Let's see if we can pick it up.
Take a look, here's the run. You see anybody holding?
Yeah, right there.
62.
It was back on 62 and it was on number 50. So he's holding on the offense, and that'll knock the Knights back. There you see head coach Mark Merlo taking over in his first year here for Mike Van Dam.
Mike's still around, just taking it easy, coaching the 9th graders.
2nd and 25, in motion Conrad. Davis to throw, has a man.
Touchdown, it's gotta be.
Complete. Complete to Issett, and it looks like he got the first down.
Sure did.
Down to the 5-yard line. Well, no doubt about this one. This one was caught.
Watch the block by Jeremy Davis right here. Number 32, he seals him off. That gives him the time to throw the ball out. Nice out pattern over the shoulder right here. Stretching for the ball. First down and goal at the 5.
Well, Issett has been there, and great hands, and Issett is not afraid to get on the ground and get dirty and go after those balls, and you don't see a lot of receivers that'll do that. A lot of receivers will want the ball somewhere around them, back or forward in arm's length, but this guy will dive.
He averages over 20 yards a catch, too.
Yeah.
That's a key thing. You know, they're not short passes.
Davis, hands off, and still turning his legs, touchdown, Jeremy Davis on the 5-yard run.
Davis got a little help from Butch Black that time. One of the defenders actually knocked him into the end zone from behind. He kept his legs moving. That momentum made the difference. Good hard run.
3:14 left on the clock here in the fourth quarter. And let's take a look at the run again.
Look at him get hit from behind. Now here's the key thing. He's keeping those legs driving. Right from behind, right about here, he's going to get hit and pushed forward. Just far enough for the touchdown. 41 actually made the tackle from behind that time.
But the ball crossed the goal line. Jason Thompson in there to do the kicking again.
That just about puts the old proverbial nail in the coffin.
Yeah. And this time an injury on the other side of the field.
One of the first injuries, and I think it's Issett.
And that's on Issett.
Yeah.
Ooh. That would hurt. Hopefully he can recover for next week.
He looks okay.
Yeah. I don't know, the way those legs are walking, kind of wobbly.
Yeah, they are a little bit wobbly, aren't they?
No, we hope he's okay. He's pretty much done for this game.
I would think so.
You don't need to get him hurt for this one. Thompson kicks it up and through. It is good. And it's 35-14.
Yes, it's had his day today. He's had 6 catches for 145 yards. He's done. 3 minutes and 14 seconds left here in the 4th quarter. This game's just about out of reach for Rochester, barring a miracle. They do have the speedster Collins back returning kicks, so he's broken one already today. Let's see if he can do it again.
Well, it looks like it's going to be tough for Rochester to match last year's record. Well, obviously now, but I mean,
when the band leaves, that's a bad sign. That's almost as bad as the fat lady saying when the band leaves. You know.
It's going to be tough to match the type of season they had last year. And what a matchup they had last year that at least Pat Collar was here to cover that for us. It was Rochester against Rochester Adams in an exciting contest between those two schools, and that's always a great matchup. But as each year comes by, new challenges and different teams pop up. For the Knights, it's a team of experience. 8 returning players offensively and defensively, and that has really helped this team out, solidified the play on both sides of the ball for the Kimball Knights. To kick off, Jason Thompson. Thompson, a low line drive. Collins has trouble with it, gets it at about the 11-12 yard line and won't get much further as he is knocked down at about the 17. And with this pause in the action, we'll be right back right after this.
Take your best shot on the next edition of Roadshow Video. This month, Bubba and Pat take you to the Double Action Shooting Center in Madison Heights to see how sharp their shooting skills are. They'll talk to experienced shooters and see who can get closest to the bullseye. So for the best in pop music videos and what's happening in the area, watch Roadshow Video. Tonight at 9 on Channel 63.
Back to live action. 2:20 left on the clock, and on the run is Jason Clark with a big carry for the Falcons and a first down for them. As Collins comes in, number 28, to give a breather.
Clark's not pushing close to 75 yards. He's not close to his 165 from last week. This time he does a good thing. He gets outside. That's what you got to do when the clock's running down. Obviously, they don't have much of a chance at this point. But he does the right thing, gets the ball outside and goes out of bounds.
And it stops the clock at 2:10. I formation, pro set with the receivers. Bergen hands off to the first man.
That's Clark again, I believe.
And it is Clark. Not much that time, maybe 4. They keep inching the marker up a little bit.
So it's not much of a chance to go out of bounds when you're running a dive play up the middle. I think Rochester's conceding this game.
Correction, that was Scott Ross on the carry. Let's go down to Joe Abramson.
All right, guys, you know, it's week 2. It may be a little early to start talking about the playoffs, but for Kimball, it might not be. This is one of their 3 non-league games, and this is one of the 2 that they were really worried about. This and Rochester Adams, because they're double-A schools. Now, they're going to collect a ton of points for this. They're favored to win their division. Their other non-league is Dondero, who they should beat handily. And it looks like they're about to score again. Kimball's in probably the toughest region in Class A with teams like Farmington, Harrison, Brother Rice, Birmingham, Seaholm, Fraser, Grosse Pointe North. Somebody's going to get disappointed out of that group. Because of Kimball's schedule, they could easily go 9-0, 8-1, and make the playoffs and knock one of those other teams who's probably more favored to contend for the state title, knock them out of the playoffs before they get a chance to even try and win it.
On the replay here, you can see Collins, excuse me, Joe, for 1 second. He's taking it outside, showing that big speed again. Is able to take the ball downfield for an excellent game of about 30 yards. So when he gets the ball outside and he can show that speed as opposed to going sideways, he's able to do some damage.
And back to the action now. First down as the Falcons go to the air, and airing it out is Bergen. Not much down there. It's good defensive coverage by the Knights. So we see Collins set up a first down at about the 31-yard line for the Falcons. And Joe brings up a few good points. We talked to Kimball head coach Terry Powers before the game, and he was worried about the 2 league games that he had Rochester tonight, and he's got Adams again. Two of the teams
and Rochester
that
both
were
games.
that were big powerhouses last year, and really stacked against him. But he has come up big tonight. One is Collins on the carry.
One of his advantages, particularly with this Rochester team, is that they're not returning many starters. And they've had 3-4 guys actually hurt here today. So that's been a big advantage for him today.
Especially in the second half here, as they've chalked up a few more points.
Well, you can look at the rushing yards compared to the first half where they had 70 yards. They're over 200 yards here in the second half. And that's made the difference when the defensive line, 3 of the 5 guys went down. They didn't have the depth or the experience to come back and play over that.
Falcons want to get on the board one last time. 48 seconds and counting down here in the fourth quarter. I formation, 2 receivers split. The handoff goes to Collins, trying to bounce it outside, but a good tackle as Kevin Phillips just wrestles him down. And if he had beat him, he might have turned that corner and gotten into the end zone.
Well, first down stops the clock. Let's see if they're going to call a timeout. I don't know.
Yeah, they do.
They are.
So the Falcons call timeout. They'd like to get some points on the board here in the closing seconds. 34 seconds left on the clock. 35-14 the score. The Master Anglers, don't forget to watch them Thursday nights at 7 p.m. And
big fish here, Dave. Big fish.
That's right here on TCI 63. How big's that one?
That one's, let's see, that's a good 1.5 feet.
That's no lying either.
That's a big one.
Well, this one here or this one here, I'd rather have this one.
No, I think this is a bigger one. You see that belly right here? Look at that belly. That's where the big fish. That's girth. That's girth.
Is that where you get your weight?
Yeah, because this guy's skinny. Look how skinny that one guy. Oh, there's a skinny guy. There we go.
Speaking of skinny, look who comes up. It's the Master Angler himself.
That was a producer's call. They were talking skinny, and he pulls up Mark. Right,
you know why he's skinny?
Why is that?
Because he eats those fish that he catches here. And fish are supposed to be good for you. It's not like the old SCTV, what John Candy did.
Oh.
Gil Fisher, I don't know if you remember that.
Remember that.
Gil Fisher, the fishing musician.
The fishing musician.
He'd always go out and catch some fish, and then they'd offer him some fish. He said, no thanks, I don't. And he's cooking up a steak.
Yeah.
So Mark's not like that. He likes his fish.
He eats his catch.
That's right. The Falcons back to the ground. Take a look at this, and they surprise him right up the middle. Did he get in?
No,
just shy, but they pick up the first down. It's Jason Tincher in there.
Some fresh legs, that might help.
The junior gets his first carry of the night, and it's a big one. The clock will stop until they move the chains here. Let's see. They're gonna stop the clock, a timeout call by the Falcons so they can regroup. 27 seconds left on the clock, and it looks like the Falcons are going to get another one in.
They need it. Right now, they've got some young kids in there. They're going to get some momentum going for next week because that's what they need to do. Say, look, Kimball was a good team. We were able to take it down and score on them when we had to, and that's a key thing.
Next week, the Troy Colts take on the Adams Highlanders. So we will be, excuse me if I can say it, we will be back in Rochester as the Adams Highlanders host the Troy Colts. We saw the Troy Colts with an impressive performance against Clarkston in our first game. And here the Rochester cheerleaders, well, sometimes, I don't know if they look at the scoreboard, but they're happy. They cheer.
They want to make sure their boyfriend doesn't get hurt.
Well, they're happy because the Falcons are about to get into the end zone.
Yes, let's hope that they will. There's 27 seconds left. They've got at least 3 cracks at it. Clark, by the way, has gone over 100 yards for the day. He's got 19 carries and 114, so he's come through and had a good second half after a real slow first half.
And he's in there right now.
He's back in the game.
So the wishbone backfield is shown again with one receiver split up top and a tight end. And they go to Clark. Clark busts in for the touchdown. A 1-yard run by Jason Clark. And the Falcons get on the board again.
We're just talking about Jason Clark calling his number. Again, the third back in the wishbone takes the ball. You can see right here we've got 2 blocking backs. Those 2 blocking backs are blocking for Clark. 38 and 20. He takes the ball right over their blocks, over their backs for the touchdown. That's the 3rd time they've called that same play down there.
So that makes the score a little bit more respectable. 35-20, and here with the extra point attempt can make it 21. Paul Dressler to get the extra point through, and does with plenty of leg.
He's got plenty of leg. As I mentioned earlier, he did kick a 49-yarder in a scrimmage. So he's got the leg to boot it. He just needs to get the hold down. That usually helps.
Yeah, a little bit different from last week. A lot of scoring in this one. 35-21 now. And the Falcons, hey, they may try an onside kick again.
Why not? They've got nothing to lose. It's good practice in the worst case scenario. And what will happen is if Kimball does get the ball in good field position, they'll probably just take a knee. I believe the Falcons are out of timeouts. If not, they only have one left. I know that for sure because they've taken two that I know of. And they'll just take a knee or two, and then that'll be the end of the game. So they've got nothing to lose at this point and everything to gain to get the experience of trying that onside kick in game situation.
Now, the Falcons are huddling here, and these guys could have just wandered over and listened to what they were going to do, don't you think?
They very well could have. I don't think they were paying attention. That's a good, the excellent use of the telestrator.
Yeah. See, on that one, you could really use that. You could really show a bird's eye view of what's happening out there.
If I could only do it so well. I will practice, though. I'll get in front of my TV at the game tomorrow and
there you go.
Play with it,
Get your crayons out. 24 seconds left on the clock. The Falcons to kick off, and
well, they're not trying it.
No, they just let it go and let the Knights get it. And look at that.
It almost worked, yeah.
It almost worked like an onside kick. Ball down at about the 24-yard line, and that's where the Knights will have it to just basically kill off the clock.
They found a spot that was open and kicked it to it. 9 plays, 82 yards, 2 minutes, 50 seconds, but all on the ground. Key point to that whole drive. There were no passes, all on the ground, capped off by the 1-yard touchdown run by Clark.
And the Falcons pretty much salvaging really what they could in this fourth quarter with a couple of scores. 21 points now. As you see Terry Powers looking on, and a great night for his team as they've pretty much led the whole way. They have led the whole way,
this
but they
is illegal. He can't step on the field right there. You know, he can't go out there. That should be a penalty, shouldn't it?
Where is he?
He's on the field. Look at him. He's walking way out here. He shouldn't be out there.
Well, the clock just ran out. That's why.
Why'd they do that? They didn't take a snap.
That'll do it. The final score here at Rochester High School, 35-21, and Terry Powers shakes hands there with Mark Merlo as the Kimball Knights defeat the Rochester Falcons here at Rochester High School. And a big victory for the Knights as they dominate the entire game, scoring big, coming out 15-0, and then scoring again 22-0, and then jumping out again to a 28-7 lead, and then coasting the rest of the way, picking up another score along the way. We'll be back to wrap things up here at Rochester High School. Right after these messages, the final score, Kimball Knights 35 and the Rochester Falcons 21.
If you wish a video cassette of TCI Sports, the cost is $25. Send a check payable to TCI, along with your name, address, and the names of the teams that played in the game, to TCI Sports Videotapes, 4500 Delamere Boulevard, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073. Remember to tell us which game you wish to receive. And thank you for watching TCI Sports.
The TCI game of the week this week at Rochester High School. The Kimball Knights winners 35-21 over the Rochester Falcons. And Joe Abramson down on the field has a couple of the key players here tonight. Joe?
Guys, it might not be Scott Mitchell and Herman Moore, but Jeff Davis and Brian Issett turned out to be one of the better pass-catch combinations in Oakland County. You guys came out today against a team that won 44-0. Of course, you won 48-0 last week. But this has to be one of the biggest wins you guys have had regular season-wise over the last 2 years.
Yeah, it was a very big win for us, and the team really responded well, and we had to step up for the game. Like the offensive line, as quarters being smallish, they really stepped up and did a good job.
I noticed after the first drive, when you guys kind of moved the ball at will, Rochester's defense adjusted. You seemed to run your routes a little bit different. Was that something that the coaches noticed?
Well, we saw that they were running 3 deep, which they were already like 10 yards off me, so I just started running the shorter routes, and they were working.
Now you guys, obviously, in the second week, you can't really think too much about the playoffs, but you've already been there once, and you're favored to win your division. You get by a AA team like this, does it give you a little more confidence, a little momentum for the rest of the season?
Yeah, it does, because last year they were at 9-0, and they were pretty much shut out every team. It was a real good win for us to beat the team like this.
One thing I did notice, too, and I've seen this before in high school teams, that are more known for their passing attack is that it becomes real easy for you to run after a while once the defenses start gearing up on you. You guys notice that it's kind of easy for you just to hand it off as you had a lot of rushing yards and touchdowns today?
Yeah, it was easier because you open it up with like a passing game, then you go to the rushing game, or vice versa.
Do you feel, Jeff, it seems like when you're out on the field with him, you kind of know when he's going to throw. Like he's got the ball in the air almost before you turn around. Do you guys have some sort of chemistry going here?
Well, we've been working together since we were in 8th grade, so it's pretty much just like homework now. I mean.
All right. Well, there's a couple of the stars of the Kimball team, and with a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work, if they keep playing like they have been, we might see these guys beyond the 9th week of the season for the 2nd year in a row. Back up to you, Dave.
Okay, thanks, Joe, and congratulations to Jeff and Brian again on the big victory. And you can tell their combination in the passing yardage department with 217. Rushing came up big for Kimball, 280 in that second half, as Bob, you mentioned. They really took advantage of Rochester's 3 linemen, defensive linemen, going down. 280 to 183. Yards passing, 217 to 30. Total yards, take a look at that, 497 for Kimball to 213 for Rochester. First downs, they dominated there again, 20 to 12. Turnovers, only 1 by Rochester. And time of possession sort of evened out in that second half, especially in that fourth quarter.
That combination that Joe was alluding to, Jeff Davis to Issett. Issett made 6 catches for 145 yards. And Davis was 13 of 20 for 217. So they both had big days, and Jeremy Davis had 11 carries for 113 yards. Okay. Those are the big players of that team.
And here you see the scoring by quarters, all Kimball, really. 8, 7, and then 13 in the third, and in the fourth they pick up an extra touchdown to make it 35. 2 scores in the fourth quarter for Rochester gave them the total of 21. So 35-21, your final here at Rochester High School. Next week, don't forget to tune in. It'll be the Troy Colts going against the Adams Highlanders in another great contest that we have, a great matchup for you this year. Saturday and Monday at 7 p.m. That's next week right here on TCI 63. For Bob Griglak and Joe Abramson, I'm Dave Zorin, and all of our hardworking TCI staff. The final score, 35-21, the Knights over the Falcons. We'll see you next week from Rochester Adams High School.